your moderator, our panelist, guest host, Oshay Duke Jackson. For those of you who are in the live stream, I definitely appreciate you being here. Go ahead and like the video. For those of you that are watching the restream, thank you as well. Today, we have a very, 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 very crucial topic. It will feature a lot of interesting people. Leo Dunson will be on tonight. ABL will be on tonight, and some other people. But this is a topic that we're going to be discussing that's very imperative to the Black community. And the topic is, what are we going to do with all these coons? And I have one of the Rumble panelists. It's the Big Four. It's Phil That Buy Show, but Phil is out in Atlanta with Dr. Moombi. We have Super Sly, we have George, and we have Information Man. Those are the guys that hold down the Rumble every week. So this is Information Man with his third leadoff. He always does a great job. The Information Man Show YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to him. How you doing, Information Man?
I'm doing fine. Oshay, I'm glad to be here, brother. Thank you for having me back on once again as a leadoff. Everybody in the chat room, I want to say what's up to you, peace to you, wherever you are in the world, time. Once again, let's get at it. It's a pretty intense topic, and it's one that I'm looking forward to delving into. So thank
Information
you.
Man. So let me ask you this, and thank you for coming on. I always ask a guest before the Rumble, what brought you into this particular place on Black YouTube, and what brought you into YouTube and overall to start creating content for Black community issues?
Well, one, to have a voice. I didn't like what I was hearing in the media, and I felt that I wanted to put more of a spin on information that comes from a Black perspective, being that I am a Black man of 49 years now. I've lived some life, and so I feel like Black people, we need our own media. And social media right now is moving at a fast pace. And what you get on the Alphabet TV, your MSNBCs, your CNNs, you're not really getting a perspective that speaks to what Black people are really going through on the ground level, in the community level. What you're getting is talking heads on news. Prior to YouTubing, I endeavored in podcasting. I use Speaker Podcast, so I was already doing some podcasting. And as well, I've had experience over the years working in the community with youth. I currently work with brothers that are incarcerated in the prison system here in California, doing the best I can to deal with brothers who have mental health issues, because I am a certified therapist in that area, and trying to encourage brothers when I do groups with them to not come back to prison, to not repeat whatever bad choices they may or may not have made. And I know that there are brothers incarcerated that have been chumped up on charges big time, because I've seen the records. I've seen it for myself up front. So YouTube, I think, is a way for me to get information out that otherwise you won't get in the mainstream media. So it opened up a door of opportunity for me to express myself. And since then, I've had the opportunity to connect with brothers like yourself and many others in YouTube, and have panels and discussions, and share and try to build with brothers and sisters out there who are like-minded, who want to help Black people. Because at the end of the day, that's truly what I'm doing this for. We all want to do something that empowers ourselves, but empowering myself this way, I want to also empower my people and connect with other brothers and sisters. So that's my position and where I stand. Uh-oh, I can't hear you. Uh-oh.
White man held
I can hear
my
you
microphone
now.
back, brother. He
Okay.
held it back. He held it back, brother. Let me just, before we get into the topic, I used to see you in my chat. Sometimes you would super chat, but it wasn't until I met you on Search for Uhuru's channel that we had a pretty good back and forth. It wasn't pleasant the first time I met you, but it got a little bit better. And you had some issues with some of the things that I've said. I know brother the real Aaron Collins had some issues, some things I said previously. Some people in the conscious community, and I know at some point that I kind of had the label of some of my content being what is known as cooning. Can you identify, in your opinion or in your words, what is a person who is considered a coon? What does that person look like, and what are some of their talking points?
Well, let's break down the history of the term. Now, when you look at the term coon, it can be used in a variety of different ways. One, white people use the term coon as a translation for the word nigga, for a racial epithet or slur towards black people. Black people will look at the term coon as sort of like you are an Uncle Ruckus type. You are sort of like the character that Samuel Jackson played in Django Unchained, that you are sort of a sellout, a house Negro. You capitulate to white power. You sort of side with so-called, quote unquote, the master, and you kind of have self-hate. Okay. And it's, it's been used throughout the centuries because it has a lot of its origins, as I stated before, in past shows when I talked about the origins of slavery, the plantation situation. Now, if you don't mind, brother, I would like to play an audio because I think it will add some context to the show. So just hang on for a minute. This is Malcolm X. Okay. And I'm just going to tell you right now, because we get into the issue of coons. Okay. We have to understand as black people that there are two types of black people. There is the house Negro and there is the field Negro. And you are either going to be on one of the side of that. And we know that the field Negro worked in the fields. He ate the worst food, worst clothing, while the house Negro lived in the house and had the best things. So I'm going to play, if you don't mind, a soundbite to just get the show rolling with Malcolm X so that he can bring some context to where we're going right now. So here we go, and I hope everybody can hear this. Here we go.
Okay. To understand this, you have to go back to what young brother here referred to as the house Negro and the field Negro. Back during slavery, there was two kinds of slaves. There was the house Negro and the field Negro. The house Negro, they lived in the house with master. They dressed pretty good. They ate good because they ate his food, what he left. They lived in the attic or the basement, but still they lived near their master. And they loved their master more than the master loved himself. They would give their life to save their master's house quicker than the master would. The house Negro, if the master said, we got a good house here, the house Negro say, yeah, we got a good house here. Whenever the master said we, he said we. That's how you can tell a house Negro. If the master's house caught on fire, the house Negro would fight harder to put the blaze out than the master would. If the master got sick, the house Negro would say, what's the matter, boss? We sick. We sick. He identified himself with his master more than his master identified with himself. And if you came to the house Negro and said, let's run away, let's escape, let's separate, that house Negro would look at you and say, man, you crazy. What you mean separate?
So let me, I stopped that right there, Oshay. I just wanted to play a little bit of that clip from one Malcolm X. I know some folks are familiar or have heard that before, where Malcolm X speaks about the ideology of the field Negro versus the house Negro. And he also made mention near the end of that in the 21st century, or 20th century at that time, he said that, and we still got it going on in the 21st century, that we still have some house Negroes running around today, black people who have self-hate. They identify with everything from the white culture, what we would call the dominant culture in this society, and they will capitulate to that, and they will turn around and tend to hate on their own people by way of constantly always saying that black people have this problem and black people are this. And it's sort of, in a way, they're siding with the dominant society to define and doing the work of those that have oppressed us over years. They're doing the work for them by reinforcing the same stereotypes upon black people that you would have coming from white society. So when you look at the term coon and where it comes from, Oshay, let's go back to Uncle Tom's Cabin. How many people in the chat room, put a 1 in there if you have read Uncle Tom's Cabin or know the story about Uncle Tom? Because a lot of times black people, we use the term out of context. We will say, you're an Uncle Tom, not realizing that if you read the book and understand it, Uncle Tom was not, quote unquote, a sellout. Basically, Uncle Tom, near the end of that book, he sacrificed his life because he would not tell the quote unquote master where slaves were escaping to. So Uncle Tom would take the brunt of pressure while trying to get the young bloods, as they would call them, to get to freedom. And Uncle Tom gave his life because he would not tell the master where black men were running to escape from the plantation. And somehow we have turned the term Uncle Tom into a term meaning that that's a sellout. Historically and educationally, that is incorrect. It was, by all definitions, and if anyone out there has had a chance to look at a video called Ethnic Notions, it talks about stereotypes, how black people were stereotyped through history, through caricatures, minstrel shows, and such. In the whole house nigga phenomena, we have to understand that it was gumbo and sambo, and then this term coon that we use, that actually turned their back and betrayed black people. So you really should be calling people, if you're going to use these type of terms, you should be calling them sambo and gumbo. And coon would actually be appropriate because that was the class of black men or black people who turned their backs on us during slavery. Those were the type of black people that would go and tell master, this is where they're doing the slave revolts. When you look at Nat Turner, and they finally got their hands on them, they crushed him. They crushed his bones, and they put his bones into the streets. And guess how they caught him? They caught him and stopped the slave revolts because it was a Negro. It was a coon, a sambo, a gumbo, who went off and said, this is where they're at, sir. This is where they're planning to do this at, sir. And you have the buck dancing type that would squill on us. And this is how black people have been betrayed. We, through history, have betrayed ourselves. When you look at the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, you know, the different presidential administrations, they have always used a black person that looks like us, someone that looks like us. They've always used someone of our own culture to turn on us, to destroy us, whether it be infiltrating organizations like the Black Panther Party. Okay, they've always used. There was a brother who I was looking at one of Cy Netta's programs one day, and he did a program where he had a brother that was an undercover or was an FBI agent who talked about he purposely would join organizations to infiltrate in behalf of this United States government to destroy organizations that were looking for black liberation or the empowerment of black people. So throughout the centuries, throughout the years, you always have had someone that looks like us to destroy us. Malcolm X was assassinated. Well, you know what the story is behind that. You had those who looked like us who were involved in his assassination, along with the cops and everyone else in the government that was complicit. I'm going to make a pretty, people may say what I'm going to say now is blasphemy, but when you look at Dr. Martin Luther King, to me, there's no way that Dr. Martin Luther King could have been assassinated the way he was and what had happened to him without there being some black people within his inner circle, in my opinion, folks, so don't jump down my throat, without there being some folks in his inner circle or part of his inner circle or that were implicit in him being assassinated. Why would you let a man go outside like that in an open area? And come to find out, a lot of people don't know that he wasn't supposed to be in that hotel that he was in. The hotel he was supposed to go to, some kind of way conveniently, they weren't able to house him. So it is black people that have been implicit, what I would call the coons and the gumbos and the sambos. And this is the problem, Oshay, that I must break down here for everyone listening. I don't know, and I'm asking you and everybody in the chat room, have black people ever in history, historically, Have we ever dealt with the betrayers of our community? Have we ever really handled them? Black people who betray us, who coon, who do self-hate against us, why are they able to do it? And I argue that they're able to do it, and they can do it comfortably because they don't have any fear of a pushback. They don't have any fear of being excommunicated from our community. They don't have any fear of not being able to walk down the street. If you look at other cultures, let's say, and I hate to compare us to other cultures because a lot of other cultures were able to come here with their culture intact, their language intact, their Norways and their Fourways, and they're even their own religion, whereas black people historically, religion and this government system that we're under was forced upon us. So we had to adapt it and assimilate to it. But the truth of the matter is when you look at Chinese, Japanese, and other cultures, it does not mean that they don't have fuckery in their culture, but they will hold your ass accountable. Now, when I was in college, I had a couple of friends, people that I knew that were Chinese and I had a chance to be around their culture. And what I noticed about them, and everybody can laugh if they want to when you look at movies, but when they say things like, stereotypical things like you put a dishonor to the family, that's some true shit. Okay? When you do something that dishonors the family plus the culture, they will disown you. They will disenfranchise your ass and they will punish you. And in a lot of cases, you know that there's a punishment for A, B, and C. The argument that I'm making now is that black people in America, we have never orchestrated, that I have seen, and maybe I'm wrong and someone can correct me, but we have never really truly orchestrated the punishment to black people who betray the integrity of our community. Now, I know there's some that will come on the panel, possibly, maybe I'm wrong, that will say, well, what about all the fuckery in the black community, info man? What about the black people shooting and the black on black crime? As if white folks and other groups don't commit crime on each other, okay? I'm talking about when it comes to black people that are for the uplift and the betterment of our community.
Okay. How
they get betrayed by the Sambos and the coons in our community. And then you have people, I know there's some people that, when you look at a guy like, someone like a Clarence Thomas or a Ward Connolly, where I live at in California, who will tell you we don't need affirmative action programs, or you don't need programs to help assist black men and women who are intelligent, who do have grades, but for whatever other reason may or may not get into some schools based on a whole parameter of other issues other than the fact that they're just not good students. And you've had programs that have assisted us to get into school, right? Because once you're in school, it's on you to be successful. You either fall or you grow. And then you have people like Clarence Thomas who benefited from affirmative action programs to get where he got, or a Ward Connolly, or any different black people, whether conservative or Democratic. They have somehow reached the pinnacle in their careers. And then once they've reached the pinnacle, they want to pull the ladder behind them and say, all the rest of you Negroes out there, you're going to have to pull yourself up from your bootstrap because I got mine. And never mind that I use affirmative action as well. I'm just going to pull this ladder up and you just going to have to get up as best you can, even though I got mine. That to me is what you could term a coon or a gumbo. And the simple reason why is because you are now betraying your own people. Now, I know that there's some that will get on here and say, it's not my responsibility to worry about other black people. I've got to worry about myself. That's a Eurocentric point of view. If we're going to call ourselves black people or Africans or say African Americans, even though we didn't immigrate over here, we were forced over here. One of the things that you do as an intact culture is that you always support the best of your people. So as much as we want to talk about the negative in the black community, what about the best in our community, the best young and brightest of young black women and men who are trying to come up that ladder? I believe, and there's a famous picture, where you put the hand out to lift. I'm trying to lift my brother up, lift my sister up, right? So if I make it, and even if I become a Republican or I'm conservative, just because you're conservative and you have conservative views possibly, or Democratic views, why would you in turn shut the ladder or the pipeline off and say, I'm not going to help this other black person because, see, I made it by my bootstrap. So, nigga, you're going to have to worry about yourself. Other cultures do not do that to each other. That's why you can walk into a Chinatown or any type of community, and who do they hire? They ain't hiring no black people. They're hiring their own people to do the damn job. Black people are the only group of people who we hate on one another, don't want to hire one another, that are qualified. I ain't talking about black folks that's bullshitting around. We the only people that once we get up there in the stratosphere of society, now we want to get so stuck on ourselves and say, I ain't worrying about those black folks. That's that coon mentality to the individual mentality. Okay,
let me do this, guys. I'm gonna shout out the super chats here in a second. Let me go and get the likes up. We have 465 people watching in the first 20 minutes. That's very positive. And also, I'm gonna put Information Man's channels in the link so you guys can subscribe to him. Information Man, let me ask you this. Let me talk about some talking points that the so-called coon has.
Okay.
Are characteristics. One of the characteristics that some people may say is the coon, he never blames white people for anything. He may say, and also, slavery is over, get over it. A black person who has these sort of talking points, is this a person that you think is positive for Black America? Can he help Black America with these talking points, or is this person a sellout?
I think, let me just say this. I understand that people want to move forward and not deal with the history of what happened to black people in the past. It's a painful history. And a lot of times I think when most black people don't want to address that is because they don't want to address the pain, because the pain runs deep, maybe in their family. And so it's easy. I work in psychology, and what people do, and I deal with guys all the time, they mask their pain. They'll mask their pain by laughing. People mask their pain by drinking, using drugs, sex, do everything to mask their pain. You can also mask your pain by trying to say, I'm going to departmentalize it. I'm going to wipe it out and say it doesn't matter because I'm going forward. Okay? My issue is simply this. And James Baldwin said this famously, you won't understand what's happening all around you if you don't know what happened in your past. To understand your past is to understand your future and where you're going. So your past can actually be something that you can use to inspire you to go forward. Now, when I see black people who will only spend time talking about the negative of black people, but they don't want to address, on the other hand, the negative of the whiter society that we live in that has oppressed us and has done some things to sort of like change the playing field. Okay. And you don't want to address that fact, either historically or currently, but you simply want to focus on the negative of black people. And then you want to put down black men and women who may simply want to say, these are issues that we are faced with. Like, for example, when we talked about police, and you want to say, well, you know, if black people just behave themselves and act appropriately, you'll be treated fairly. And when a brother gives you historical facts and gives you personal experiences, and then you want to denounce that and suppress that as, oh, it's no big deal, then I have to question you. I have to question you because you seem to be siding towards white America. Mm-hmm. Right? And yet, anytime black people have anything to say about things that we're not happy about, whether we're doing something in our life or not, then you want to sort of say, oh, shut up, forget about your past, move forward. That happened 100 years ago. Now, if you're going to talk to black people like that, then you better very well tell Jewish people, Asian people, and other ethnic groups who either had some type of Holocaust in their history, why aren't you not telling them to be quiet, right? Why are you not telling white folks not to talk about their wars that they had in Europe, okay? You don't see these type of black people challenging that structure. But it's easy to challenge the black structure. It's easy to challenge black people. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. Because once again, as I said earlier in the program, as a group, we have never provided are illustrating a punishment to black people who get off code like this. Black people that are willing to get on television and talk about the black community like shit. And then we'll talk to black people that have had some success like shit. And so in some communities, if they're going to, so that's where I have to say that's sort of cooning, that's sort of a sellout mentality, what have you, because you're so willing to put down your own people, but you're not willing to address very real issues that we deal with as it relates to the group that you want to protect, which, as Malcolm X said, the house Negro prayed for rain, prayed for wind and more fire when the master's house was on fire, because he knew that the master gave him nothing but hell. The house nigga had the best clothes, the best food, so he sided with the master. And just like you have black folks today that will say our government, this government, as if we have some true ownership in this system. We pay our taxes, yes, but do black people have true ownership in this system? And so you have black folks that will, and I'll use the whole "Make America Great Again" slogan as it relates to Donald Trump. You can make an inference that whole slogan is nothing but a dog whistle for reinforcing white supremacy. And I would say saying that we want to make America white again, because I will say this to everyone listening, that what's so dumb about the whole slogan, "Make America Great Again," is that America has never not been great for white people. America has always been great for white people because they've always been on top. America has not been great for black people overall, even though some of us may have some individual success. But collectively, America has been a nightmare for some of us in this system. So that's why when black people say, when they look at black people wearing these "Make America" hats and all this sort of such, some black people look at those black people kind of twisted, because they're saying to yourself, well, when the hell has America not been great? And when the hell has America not been great for white people? So why are you wearing this, black man, when Donald Trump goes around talking about my African Americans as if we are possessions? He was involved, his father was involved with the Ku Klux Klan, 1922, got involved in some shit in that as far as Ku Klux Klan activities. Donald Trump himself was involved in housing discrimination, never apologized to the Central Park Five. Okay. And then I know that black people will say, well, Donald Trump hangs around rappers and he hangs around these type of people. But see, historically, white people in power have always enjoyed being around black people that entertain. It's only when we decide to want power and control where they don't, then that's when they show their racism towards us. As long as we dance and we sing and we do athletic activities, white people are not threatened by that. So Donald Trump has no problem with that. That's why he ingratiates himself with the Kanye Wests of the world. He gets himself ingratiated with these type of coons in the world, because these type of black people, which I would call coons or sellouts, are black people who basically they pose no threat to the system. Because if you're entertaining, you pose no threat. Now, if you are an Eartha Kitt, you are a Paul Robeson, my dear frat brother in the Omega chapter, Paul Robeson, or a black person that's like a Renaissance person who acts, sings, dances, but you are an activist, you are a threat. All you have to do is look at what they have done historically to black entertainers who were activists as well as entertainers. They marginalized them. Look at Danny Glover, who I met personally during my graduation. Danny Glover is a great actor, comes out of theater, but you don't see him in a lot of Hollywood movies that much anymore. Why? Because he's out there protesting. He's out there getting in activist movements. He's out there speaking for poor and the unfranchised. Okay? And so then you will have black people who I would deem Sambos and Gumbos, who will criticize black people who put themselves on the front lines of fighting for black people that have been disenfranchised. And so anytime I look at a black person that will downtrodden us, that's a black person that I would say is a coon, a Sambo, someone that you cannot trust, because they're willing and so comfortable in this system that we live in, because maybe they got a car, they've got money, they're living pretty good. So because they're living pretty good, they're doing well as an individual, they say to the rest of us, what's wrong with you Negroes? See, I pulled myself up. See, I educated myself. See, when the police stops me, I'm a good nigga. I say yes, sir, and no, sir. And see, so why is the rest of the black community so messed up? Y'all can't be like me. And so what that is another form of tribalism. And we do this to each other. Mm-hmm. I'm a different Negro because I follow all the rules of society and look how I'm living. And y'all Negroes don't follow the rules of society.
Let's talk about that real quick. And
yes, sir.
And let's kind of weigh in on that. There is some talk between certain pockets of African Americans that do have that. Hey, I don't have those problems because white people accept me because I follow the rules. I don't have the problems that you ghetto niggas have that you, or they will talk like you niggas or you people. What would you say about, because I hear some blacks that do that sometimes. They will talk you know what I mean? They don't say us. Mm-hmm. They will say you. Now to be fair, I say you and us at the same time. I include myself in the group. But you do have some black people that say you have that problem as if they're not also black. Have you ever heard black people talk like that before? And what's your interpretation of blacks who speak like this?
Yeah, I have heard black people that talk like that, and I've been around black people who talk like that, Oshay. And part of the problem is that black people who engage like that, they in their mind believe that they're different from us because they have followed a certain set of rules. They have gone along and capitulated to the system. It gets back to what I said earlier. I think what has happened to black people, and I know people don't want to hear this, is that living in American society over these 400 to 500 years, we have been culturally conditioned to see white as superior and black as inferior. And as a manifestation of that cultural conditioning, we will underestimate, undervalue, and marginalize black people. We do it to ourselves. White folks do it to us. And we will see each other as different, and we will put ourselves in different tribes. That was the whole reason why during slavery, they gave some black people privilege. They gave some black people no privilege. And in some cases, they would make some black people overseers. That was the whole psychology behind house Negroes and field Negroes. Make the house Negroes feel that they're better than the field Negroes because they got better food, better housing. So what I would say, coming up to the 21st century, that black people that I've been around that talk like this are black people that think that they're better than other black people because maybe they've got education, maybe they got a better lifestyle, house, car, and because maybe they've been treated different by police or by white people on the job and off the job, because those white people may perceive them as and I've heard this be said even to me, oh, you're a good Negro. You're not like those other Negroes because you speak well. Anytime you hear a white person say to you, oh, you're very articulate, you're very well spoken, and then a term called bright. People don't realize that the term bright came out of is a fact where they were identifying black people that were dumb versus black people that were smart. So I think black people who look at other black people this way is because they are experiencing white people who see them different. Just like when you look at black athletes, like, right? And you'll say, white people will say, well, Michael Jordan is not like other black people. He's different. Well, why is he different? Well, he's an athlete. He's got money. He's living well. We want his autograph. So the same white people that will want Michael Jordan's or LeBron James's autograph, who you would say, oh, see, white people can't be racist anymore because, look, they're wanting the autograph of, like I said, they've always admired what we called in the past black bucks. If you are a black buck and you do sport and play and you're not going against the grain with politics and empowering your people that way, then you're okay because you're doing sport and play. And nobody is threatened by sport and play. Coons or Sambos or black people that speak like this have been treated a certain way, just as the house Negro was on the plantation. So if I give you better food, clothing, and treat you better as a house Negro, you will begin to internalize that as you have arrived and you may see yourself as better than the field Negro who eats worse food and dresses in worse clothes. So that's why you'll see it manifested. It will manifest itself in today's society, where you'll have black people that will think they're better than other black people just because they might have had a more privileged background, more education, a better situation, and they might have had less strife with white people, because those white people see certain black people as this is a safe Negro. So we don't mind this Negro moving in our neighborhood. We can take one or two, but we can't take 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them and 20 of them. And oh my God, well, we got one Negro, he's the token Negro. And this is very important, Oshay. When you use the term token, understand this. If I was to give you a token and put it in your hand right now, and I said, Oshay, what is the value of that token? Because most tokens don't have a value on it usually. And if I was to take some money out of my pocket and say, this is 25 cents, what is this worth? And you say, Oshay, to me, you say, it's 25 cents, info. What are you talking about? If I take out another piece of change, what's that? That's a nickel. Yeah, it's a nickel. A token is the value that the person who gives you the token puts on it. So you're only as valuable as the person that defines you at that time. So when it comes to black people being tokens, it's sort of like a lapdog. When the white man or when society gets through with you, they will throw your ass off. And they will use certain tokens to say, look, we met our quotas. We got a black man in the company, so we can't be a racist company. We got this one black man in the company. There's 2 black men in the company. And so sometimes when you look at Clarence Thomas, for example, think about it. There's only been 2 Supreme Court justices that were black. One was my dear frat brother, Thurgood Marshall, which personally, I don't care how anybody feels about this. To me, he's the only black man, as far as I'm concerned, that was ever on that Supreme Court. But to be honest, you've got 2 black men that have been on that court: Thurgood Marshall, and you got Clarence Thomas. You got Clarence Thomas. But the thing is, Clarence Thomas may not even realize that he, in a sense, is a token, because you've never had a balance of different race of people on the Supreme Court. So even Clarence Thomas, as much as he wants to tell black people to pull themselves up from the bootstrap, or that he pulled himself up, in a lot of ways, he's a token, because he's the only Negro on that Supreme Court. And by the way, a Negro who doesn't really even speak, doesn't really talk and challenge anything. He's just kind of there. And so, but at the same time, if you were to say to him, well, brother, maybe you're on this Supreme Court because George Bush Sr. put you on there as a token to meet the quota. And he may not tell you, and I bet you any kind of money, Clarence Thomas and black men like him, or black people like him, will say, no, I got here because of all my hard work. All my hard work. Well, if you're going to say that, why would you say that to black people who might have gotten into school through some affirmative action type programs, who did have the grades, who did work hard? Because even if you get into school through affirmative action, you still got to take the goddamn test. Your examination is not an affirmative action examination. You still taking the same damn exam as everyone else. Even if you got into the school because you're black and because historically they have discriminated against your race, but you still got to take the SATs. You still got to show that you can pass that class. See, nobody ever talks about that when they talk about the whole affirmative action thing. So to me, when you have black people that will pull the ladder up behind other black people, that to me is complete coonery. That to me is selling out, and that's betraying black people. And my question is, once again, to everybody listening, the reason why some black people are able to get away with doing this is because they know that there's no punishment for doing what they do to betray black people. They know there's no punishment. And my argument is that if there was a punishment for this, culturally and socially, these individuals would take the time to think about it before they do it, because they know that there's a punishment for their actions. And black people, what we have done has been a big mistake to us, is that there were a lot of coons and Sambos who betrayed black people during slavery. And they were able to walk right into quote unquote freedom from slavery into Jim Crow. I mean, into Reconstruction, into the Jim Crow era. They were able to walk right in to where we are today because they were never destroyed from the very get-go. Now, let's talk about the Haitian Revolution. Do you know one reason why the Haitian Revolution was successful at that time? Is because
they killed all their people.
They killed off their coons. They destroyed those that were betraying them. And by the way, without the Haitian Revolution, we would not have an American society today because the whole middle half of this country had to be sold off because the Haitian Revolution put the damn French in bankruptcy. But I'm bringing this up to say other cultures realize the importance of eliminating their traitors. Black people in America, unfortunately, our traitors have been allowed to walk right into Reconstruction with us, right into present day. And these same traitors have been allowed to be able to flourish, to come out of our communities, get education, get some upper mobility in life, and then turn around and piss on the rest of us and tell and dictate to us how we're supposed to act simply because they think they have made it. And what they really are in is sort of a modern day house. They're a modern day house nigga, just like Malcolm X spoke of, because they've been given all the pretty silver and ribbons. They've been given all the pretty food and clothing to make them feel comfortable. And one thing I know about black people, unfortunately, is that sometimes if you can make black people comfortable, then they'll go for anything and they'll relax and they'll even turn around and hate on each other. So is there anything else, Oshay, that you want to point out?
Yeah, we're going to talk about some more things, but let me just do this. Guys, thank you for watching the show. Do me a favor and get the likes up. I'm going to shout out the super chats. I'm sure today the Rumble is going to be pretty interesting. We got Black Eyes TV there. There's ABL. There is supposed to be Leo Dunson. I know there also is Prophet of Thought series. There's the Uber guy there. We got a really good balance. Xanathos Clutch, I think, is going to be here for a minute. We'll do the lead off in the 20 minutes. But let me go ahead and shout out those people who are on the super chat. And by the way, if you want to subscribe to Information Man channel, it's in the description. Link is in the description. Go subscribe to this channel. Press 4 once you've done that, so that we know that you subscribe. Hit the bell on this channel. It's a really, really good channel. Let me shout out, because there's so many super chats I need to read out here that have been coming out. Shout out to Roscoe. He's leaving out the biggest group of traders. Simon Landra, do you believe in merit at all on a scale of 1 to 10? To what extent is a success of manifestation of merit for black people? Thank you, brother. Carl's opinion. White people only care about behavior, not color of skin. This is an interesting one. White people only care about behavior, not color of skin. Bad white people moving into my neighborhood is not a good thing versus a stable black family. Okay. I don't know if that person is white or black who put that, but that's the end. We're going to deal with that. We're going to deal with that comment, Information Man.
Okay.
I think it's very interesting. Let me read the rest of them. Gary Grant, Information Man, can you tell me where in the world blacks are doing better than blacks in America? White people did not steal blacks from Africa. Hurricane Silos, thank you for joining Patreon, brother. Also, I thank you so much. 29 super chat. Simon Landry, thank you again. What if the house slave owns the house, the business, and has white employees? If he is a house slave, you know that there were black slave owners. Okay, we'll talk about that. Carl's opinion. White people beat each other up all the time. West Coast versus East Coast versus deplorables, flyover states, train again, born again, etc. Check out the politics. MAGA equals center of the country versus coastal cities. Shy Match, don't talk about black people wearing MAGA hats. When you liberals saps wearing Che Guevara t-shirts, wasn't that dude from like Venezuela or Cuba, something I think Colombia or some military? Where is he from? I think it was like Argentina. I think. Stop the nonsense, info man. It's sad. Okay, Shay Mides again. Wait a minute, dude. Just explain what coon means. So how does caring for self equate to that without affecting other black people? That make no sense. Moses Jenkins, talk about the third type. Likes are free, Negroes. Thursday Box 15 is so funny. I downloaded to watch it offline. No buffering. No white men holding me back. Dr. Andow, thank you. Gary Grant's blacks were more successful before affirmative action. Just check the graduation rate before. Dr. Deacon Eric P. I nominate Information Man Show as General for President Oshay Duke Jackson 2020. Support the Negrocratic Party. Charlie Norwood, $10. There you go. Black Man Actual _ is terrorizing the black community and killing your own brothers and sisters considered cooning. We'll deal with that also. C Boogie Production. Straight ahead, comrades. Hand over the W. Got here right on time. Joel Boston making it rain early 4 quarters in the building. LOL. Let me just deal with this. We'll talk about interracial marriages.
Okay.
Also. But this brother Carl, opinion, I'm assuming he's black. White people only care about behavior, not color of skin.
Okay.
Bad white people moving into my neighborhood is not a good thing versus a stable black family. Okay, if this person is black, and I don't know if he is, but if you are, I would be sure to know if he is black or not. Yeah, that guy's from Argentina, the Che Guevara guy. What do you think if that person is black?
Let me just say something about Argentina. They got a lot of the men in Argentina when they and I've heard this before, especially with the black women in Brazil. A lot of Argentina. Let me just say this: what I've heard in Argentina, a lot of the men, or some of the men, see black women as whores. There have been instances where you have black Brazilians that have been over there. So they already historically have sort of a racial view of black people already, particularly our women. So I really I'm not going to entertain someone who's from a country where they do have some racial issues, especially when it comes to black people. So that individual can dismiss me with that bullshit. But let me just say this. Everybody listening, when I talk about coon, it can go both ways between females and males. You can have black women that can sell us out. You can have black men that sell us out. It goes across the board. Okay. When you talk about people that are killing us in the community, Oshay, in terms of black men that go around killing other black men, the gangs and all that kind of stuff, the way I see it, if you are doing anything that is a detriment to black people, to the community, that is Sambo and Gumbo coon behavior. So when I talk about coon, this isn't just about talking about, and this isn't necessarily black people that are conservatives. See, this is where people are going to get it wrong right now. You know, a lot of times people associate someone as being a coon or a sellout, whatever, is someone that's a conservative. No. Because you could be a conservative, but you can definitely be damn well aware of your history, and you can damn well be a supporter of your community. Okay? Okay. I'm talking about, that's why I kept saying if everybody would hear me. I'm saying I don't care if you're a Democrat, because there's some black people that are Democrats that ain't doing a damn thing for us. Okay? Right. I was very critical, and I did a video about this, and you can find it on my channel. I was very critical of Elijah Cummings when he was sitting up there crying about what was going on with the people across the border from Central America, right? So I kept saying, wow, he's crying over these folks, but is he going to cry over what's happening to black folks in America when it comes to being shot by cops and such like that? Because people that are coming from outside of this country, these immigrants, they're not coming over here to be our friend. They're coming over here to compete with us for jobs and knock us out. So I'm an equal opportunist when it comes to criticizing anybody, whether it's Democrat or Republican. If you just happen to be a Republican and you're speaking certain talking points that I may not agree with, that I also see as a detriment to the community, then I'm going to have I'm going to have some problem. But it could be anybody. And in the case of gang activity or black men who do harm to the community, you are a coon. You are a sellout. If it's to the detriment of our community, if it's to the death of our women, our children, our men, and you're selling drugs, I see somebody. I'm just being honest with you. You know, if I deal with guys in the prison system, I see anybody that sells drugs or sold drugs to the black community. To me, you are an ultimate coon because you're doing the job for the so-called white supremacy. If white supremacy exists, you're doing the job for the Ku Klux Klan. I think the Ku Klux Klan, some years ago, Oshay, I was reading an article or something where the Ku Klux Klan, somebody from the Klan wrote an article saying, hey, thank you, black people.
Thank you.
You're doing a job. You're doing a good job for us. You're killing each other and you're selling drugs to each other. You're doing our job for us, to yourself. And so any black person that would do that, to me, is a traitor to our community. And there's another thing I have a problem with, and you see it on YouTube. You will have black men on YouTube, or black men who will get up on social media or anywhere in this society, and they will try to criticize other black men that are doing work in the community, other black men that are actually doing things. And then they want to criticize you, yet, which they want to criticize you, and you've never done anything to be a detriment to the community, yet they have a history of doing something detrimental to the community, and now they want to set up and talk shit to you, get up in your face and tell you what you're not doing and what you should be doing, when, first of all, they contribute to the destruction. There's probably a woman, a man out there who's either dead or still hooked on drugs or messed up in the head mentally because of the drugs that they sold in the community, because of the shit that they was peddling.
Okay.
So those are coons as well. So when I talk about sellouts, it goes all across the board, because I don't want people to get on your panel today, the conservative types, and make it seem like I'm only trying to put an indictment. Now, I did bring up Clarence Thomas because I had to bring him up and some others as an example of what I was talking about. But I don't want people to think that I'm putting an indictment on just black conservatives. I'm putting an indictment on anybody black, no matter what your politics and religious is, if you've done anything that's to the detriment of black men and black women. You could be blue collar and be a detriment to us, and you can be white collar. And the white collars are the type like Ward Colony that I told you, who was doing everything to screw up the college system here in California, that was going to impact black people and other people of races of trying to get into school and get an opportunity to get into some of these universities where they may not have had an opportunity for whatever the other variety of reasons are. And when I see a black man doing that, who's white collar, who could be helping his people, then I have to look at him sideways and say he's a sellout to our people. Okay? So before anybody gets on this panel today and starts giving me the runaround about, what about black people that do black on black crime and shoot each other? They're coons too.
I've heard you say that. I've
said that many times. They're coons too. And I said a week ago that black men that commit crime, that are legitimately committing crime, they should be arrested. And those who are not committing crime should not be harassed by the police. But we do get harassed by the police. And just because you have not experienced that as a black person, you should not minimize that has happened to black people, that has happened that way.
Okay.
And that's why this is the problem, Oshay, the tribalism. And this is why they did what they did, divided us by house niggas, field Negroes, and color, light-skinned and dark-skinned, to create the confusion that we deal with today.
Let me, Huey Peanut, he put his email there. Hey, Huey, you want to get on the show, dog? Okay, I see your email. Don't worry about that. You're about to get a link right now. Yeah, I got you. Don't worry about that.
Huey, if that's who I think it is, that's my brother.
Oh, I timed him out.
Oh, you timed him out? Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I know that brother. He's a good brother. He's a good brother. Just want to say that. He's not a troll type. He's a good brother. He's. But anyway, Oshay, go ahead, brother. It's your program.
No, I didn't know. I don't know you, Nick. So I'm just saying. So
if it's who I think it is, brother. If it's who I think it is, I didn't see the chat.
You can't be just. If I don't know you, brother, you can't be coming here talking about can I get on? I don't know you, nigga. So you gonna go to the wall where you got to work your way up to get on the Rumble.
I see who that is. Yeah, I know that brother. He's a good brother. Just want to let you know,
brother. You got to work your way up to get on the Rumble, brother. You just can't come in here dropping your email like I don't know you. Come on, brother. You got to work. This is the Sunday Rumble. This is the big time. You got to work your way out, brother, to come on this show. But you can't just drop your email like that, my man. No, to the wall. To the wall.
Oshay, let me just say this, too, before anybody tries to come on here and jump on me about this. I'm well aware and educated that you had Africans in the continent that were involved in our slavery. You had Ghana, You had the Nigerians and other countries in Africa that were involved, because when you go over there and travel and you see these structures that were built, well, we know that Europeans could have never done what they did, because we give Europeans way too much credit. They could have never done what they did without some of us being complicit in the slave trade. But however, you had the Arabs, you had the Europeans as well, the Portuguese. So it was a conglomerate of many people involved. So if you're gonna tell that history out there, folks, let's tell it all. It was Africans, and it was a whole lot of other groups of people too. Now, come on. It's so easy. See, a lot of people want to run to that. Well, the Africans put you in slavery. Well, the Africans had assistance from some the Africans assisted, and then you had other groups that got involved. It was a money-making system. The triangular slave trade was a money economic system that fueled the world. Yes, it was. So I'm not ashamed to say that truth. Yes.
Let me say something to this. If you come in here mentioning other YouTubers' names, I'm timing you out. Okay? If you want to mention other YouTubers' names, take your ass to their channel. Because I don't want to hear nothing you people's over there talking about me on their stream and all. No. So if you even mention Jesus' name on this motherfucker, I'm timing you out. Okay? Because they're not the topic of the discussion. The discussion ain't got nothing to do with no damn YouTubers.
Cheese.
So don't put nobody's name in here.
You can get some cheese.
Okay? Because I'm going to send all of you niggas to the wall. Black people, man, you got to get them straight. Let me do this real quick. Let me read out some of the super chats here. Let me shout out to my brother, real Aaron Collins. Shout out to Information Man Oshay. Love both you brothers. Keep it coming. Always support. I got to get my brother back on the show. Doug, Big Doug. Shout out to Big Doug, the main moderator here. He's moderating all through Black YouTube, timing niggas out everywhere you go. He time y'all out. Roscoe, are the women traders at Information Man? Okay, we'll talk about that in a second. Keep your head up, Info Man. Full circle, brother, out of LA, but living in Vegas. Intense Fent. What is this black identity politics? Will this help us? Shout out to brother Intense. John Styles. I want to address this assertion by Information Man. How can I get on? Thank you for the support, super chat. Let me guys tell you this. For those people who are on the Rumble, okay? Just because you see like Information Man on the show or some other people on the show, the Sunday Rumble is a show where it's politics on this show. Okay, I hate to say this. So this is not a show you can come in and just get on the show because you're here. All right, this is not a ghetto nigga hangout. You don't send me the link. Especially if I don't know you, I'm timing your ass out. Okay. Only way you can get on the Sunday Rumble is if, number one, I know you, and if I know you, you still might not get on. Okay. And the panel is already almost full for every show. Okay, so you come in here, drop your email or something like that, I'm going to time you out, nigga, because I don't know you, all right? And if anybody come on there because you put me on the show, I don't know you. If I don't know you, I'm not going to just send you the link because I'm going to tell you what happened. One day I did that, nigga came on here and got asshole naked on the show. Information Man, the nigga just gave the nigga the link, came on the show, nigga got butt naked.
Oh, wow.
So if I don't know you, I'm not going to just give you the link so you can come on here and just get asshole naked on my show. You know, so, you know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't ask Tariq to come on to his show right away, so nigga don't be over here asking me. Get your motherfucking ass out of here, nigga. This is some real shit. So, you know I don't know you, and I don't know you, and you don't know me. So why in the fuck would I have you if I don't know you? Okay? That's just what it is. So, you know, you want to get a relationship with motherfucker, you know how it is. Email, come and support a super chat or whatever, or comment or something. Then I know who you are. Then I'll start fucking with you, or somebody recommend you. But nigga, this is not no. I want to get on the show right now. I ain't never heard from your ass before. Come on, man, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Just because we black don't mean you're gonna be doing those stupid. Man, I'm telling you, y'all see anybody doing that? Get their ass out of here. Carl, don't orange me. Your opinion is to the timeout. Man, I'm tired of niggas, man. Every fucking chance I get, these niggas is doing something crazy. Fuck. Black people, man. Shout out to brother Gilbert and the Hyman. We need to stop hating on the pull yourself up out of bootstrap phrase. You have to do that first before you receive help. No one can help someone who doesn't want to help themselves. What do you think about that? Just briefly.
It even, I think, for those of you that are Christian out there, that's even in the Bible. God help those that help themselves. If I sit down and I keep praying for bread, bread is not going to fall in my hand. I got to get my ass up and get out there and do the things that are necessary to produce the fruits that I want. So I agree with that, but the point of what I was trying to say is that what about when you have young black people who are going to school and are doing the right thing? And I think I have this attitude because I have assisted young people. I have assisted in helping young people get into college through scholarship fund programs. I really feel that it's my calling, if I have the ability and opportunity, to pull a young man or young lady up who is actually doing all the right things to try to go forward. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about black folks out here that are doing ratchet stuff, not getting their shit together. I'm talking about the fact that we need to really watch ourselves when we talk about pulling this ladder up and closing the door, because you could be closing the door on other young black men and young ladies who actually are doing the right thing, who might need some assistance, some mentoring, whatever. And if you have this kind of attitude, like I've got mine, you better get yours, and pull yourself up by the bootstrap, and you kind of have this sort of, as I said, the Clarence Thomas mantra that he said, you might be closing the door on other black people that might be that could do some great things that may just need a little assistance. That's all I'm trying to say. And I just think that I have a problem with any black person who has actually used this very system that they criticize. They have actually used it and have benefited from it to get where they are. And now because they have made success and have a 2-car garage and they have a house and they live in a nice neighborhood, now they want to piss on everybody else who might be saying, hey, I want to, get some benefits and try to go to school, and I want to take advantage of some of these programs. But then you say, oh no, I'm going to get rid of these programs because black folks, we don't need this program or that program anymore because, racism doesn't exist anymore. Racism is a figure of your imagination, which is bullshit. And it's easy for you to say that when you're living a very comfortable life. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm trying to say. And I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, or what black person you are. If you're doing anything that is a detriment to our people, and you're doing something that can hurt the betterment of our people that are trying to do something with their life, then I got a problem with you. Now, I'm not naive. There's not every black person you can't work with. And I know some folks may come on here and they may say that, well, you can't work with all black people. All black people are not, all skin folk are not your kinfolk, as they say. Okay? I totally understand that. If you work with black people that you can work with, and those that are bullshitting you, you leave their ass behind. That's really what I'm saying. Okay? I'm not saying just try to try to pull up the bootstrap of every black person that ain't doing nothing. No, I'm talking about those that actually are trying to do something. But I think still, I get back to the psychology, Oshay. I just don't think in some ways we understand the psychology of how this works and why we hate on one another. And I know someone said in the chat room, what about women? And I just said earlier, there are women that can betray you. There are women that betray our culture. Okay. And there's men that betray our culture. It goes both ways. The whole ideology of cooning and samboing does not just rest with men. Women can do it as well. As a matter of fact, there are black women and women that have done it. Okay. Who do capitulate. Let's say, for example, who was the sister that was the Secretary of State under Bush Jr., Condoleezza Rice. Mm-hmm. I had a problem with her back when you had the hurricane situation in New Orleans. Okay. And at a time when we needed to see real leadership, and her leadership as well, you had black folks suffering out there. And while they were suffering, it was brought to her attention while she was out shopping. Getting shoes and doing all the little yuppie stuff that people do when you got some money or whatever. And when it was brought to her attention, it was not until she was called out, I think by Eric Dyson Clay or one of these talking heads on television, that all of a sudden she did a press conference and start talking about, I'm from Alabama and I do care about my people and what have you. But it's like, why did you have to be called out to address something that's happening to your people or people in general in New Orleans when you claiming you're from the South? And the reason why I'm bringing this up, because people will say, well, why are you going to blame her? Well, I can put a finger on her because she's a part of the government at the highest level. She's working in the White House with the president, hand in hand. So that's what I'm saying. That's another example of how black people get to a certain status. Women are men. And we begin to think that we're up here while everybody is down here. And you have to remember that even if you have money and you rise to the top, something can happen that can bring you right back down. Boom. And there's always been a glass ceiling in America where they only let some black people get only so far.
Okay.
There's a glass ceiling. Now, those that are living very successfully may think, oh, I don't have any glass ceiling on me. But to a certain degree, historically, there has been this glass ceiling that only lets you get so far.
Okay.
To keep you satisfied, like that house Negro on the plantation. If I got colored TV, if I got clothes and food and certain luxury, then you begin to think that you are living the life, that you're comfortable and that everything is okay. For you it is. May not be for everybody. Okay, brother.
Okay. And guys, I'll ask this last thing and then we'll open up the panel. Very good lead off. 724 people watching. Do me a favor. Thanks for all the support. I will go ahead and shout out the super chats. I see the brothers that don't agree with that glass ceiling. Okay, we'll talk about that also. Guys, get the likes up here. We're going to open up the panel after this last question. Okay. What about black people who marry interracially, in particular, white people?
Okay.
Black people who understand that racism exists. They understand that things are unfair against blacks. They find themselves in relationships or marriages with white people. Are these people coons?
Now, I know that people are going to say, and you know, the usual thing that people say, well, I married for love and happiness. I didn't see color. And I remember having a professor in college who said that, you know, America was built on race. It was built on color. And that if someone says that race doesn't matter, they're a goddamn lie. Get the hell away from them. I'm here to tell everybody, and I don't care what anybody thinks of it because it's historically true. Because it's the way this country was built. Race always matters. Because who you marry... I'm not yelling at you, Oshay.
I know. Well, go ahead, brother.
Race always matters. Who you marry and who you decide to covet and lay with and give your life to as a man, particularly as a man, represents your politics. It's an expression of who you are, who you have on your arms. It's an expression of your politics and who you are. Okay? And so, although I can understand why people meet each other, they fall in love, and maybe you married that woman, whether white or whatever race, because she was there for you. And I do understand the fact that some brothers in particular have said throughout YouTube that they have tried to date black women, and sometimes dealing with black women, they've had to deal with an attitude or some sort of drama. And that's why black men go to other countries to look for black women in other countries or look for other women because of how those women treat you. Mm-hmm. Women who believe in a patriarch, not a matriarch type system. I understand that. So for anybody coming on here today, don't railroad me. I understand that reality. However, I really believe that if you are committed to your people, the woman that you lay down with, the woman that you covet and that you decide to have a family with and love, if you are really about your people, it should be a black woman. If I'm talking about now, I'm prefacing this, okay? Because I don't want anybody coming on here jump down my throat today. I'm saying if your narrative is a pro-black narrative, and you say I'm pro-black, then your woman should reflect your pro-blackness, being that she should be black.
Okay.
If you've already put out there, and we see it on YouTube, hey, I'm into different types of women, then I can't necessarily hate on you because you've already made it known that you like to date different types of women. If foreign women is your thing, or black women from other countries is your thing, then I already know where you stand. So I can't come around and say, criticize you, because you already told me where you stand. And if I don't like where you stand, then I don't fuck with you. Okay? Now, are there black men who marry white women who sort of do self-hate? Yes. There are lots of black men out there who are married to white women and probably have married or have a relationship with white women because they have a self-hate either for themselves, their own women, or their own culture. And then they have this artificial sense of comfort with that woman, with that white woman, because that white woman treats them a certain way. And then that black man may believe that, oh, there's no racism. See, my wife is white and she treats me with respect. So therefore, racism must be a figment of our imagination, right? Just like you have black men who can sleep with different race of women, Latinos, Asians, and white women again. And they'll believe that, well, because I have sexual access, I have access to what's between all these different women's legs, you will equate that with, I have arrived, that somehow racism is the things of the past. Sexual access is not an equal for racism being gone. It is not a sign that we live in a diverse society. Just because you can lay between a different race of woman's legs does not equate to that. Historically, white men would go into plantations, on plantations would rape black women. And historically, white men would have relations with black women either by force or not force. Okay? And even though they were having sex with black women, and white women were having sex with black men, or what they call black bucks, it still didn't change the fact that they still felt racism towards black people. So that white man sleeping with a black woman, did it make him say, let me free all my slaves and stop being a slave owner and stop oppressing them and putting a whip on the back of men? Which, by the way, is where you get the term cracker from, because it's the cracking of the master's whip on your back when he would whip you. So that same white man that would whip you and kill you, Oshay, would lay with your woman. Does that mean that he's not racist? No. Your access to coochie does not mean liberation. Men of all races have always loved poutine of all different varieties. So that doesn't equalize what you would call a society of diversity. Okay. So I still would look at a black man who talks the pro game that's with a white woman. I would look at him side eyes. And there are black men that are married to different race of women that are pro-black 100%. And then there are some that are complete sellouts. I'm simply looking at those that show a portrayal to our community are the ones I look at with the side eye, no matter who they're married to. Especially if I already know what they're into, then I know what I'm getting into. Mm-hmm. And if I don't like what they're into, then I don't support them. It's just that simple.
Okay. So let me do this. We'll open it up. Man, I'm echoing. What's going on here?
Okay.
So thank you, Information Man, for the lead off. ABL let me down. He's going to a concert. You know, he was going, and Leo Dutson, they let me down. So I can't have all you pro-black Negroes on the show tonight, man. Not all of y'all, right? All the pro-blacks can't be on at one time because y'all gonna kill the show. Okay, too many of you pro-black niggas on the show. I'm not gonna have no balance, and y'all going. So I need some niggas who, you know what I mean, don't feel different. So today is the only where there's gonna be a ban on the pro-blacks. Okay, I need some people with some differences of opinion on this thing. Mm-hmm. All right, so let me go ahead and bring on some of the people So Super Sly, okay, I know he's ready to come on.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kiriaki Jones, if he's there, he can come on. Xanathos Clutch, if he's there. Let me get Black Ice TV. Who else do I have? Okay, Proper the Thought series. Okay.
And O'Shea,
Yes.
do me a favor on this panel, not to tell you what to do, brother, but I definitely want to hear brother's opinion as it relates to the fact that we as a people, we have never really addressed those in our community that have walked right into this quote unquote life of freedom that have betrayed us. We've never dealt with them, and we have never given them a punishment as other cultures punish of those that betray them in their culture. There is a punishment, and black people, we have never developed such a punishment, and those who betray us don't have any fear of a punishment.
Okay. Yeah, no, we'll deal with that, because what are we gonna do with all these coons, right? That's the name of the show. So let's do this. I see Gab, I see some other people, but let me do this real quick. ABL and Leo threw a wrench. The white man told them not to show up, and so they put a foot on my neck.
I think ABL didn't show up because he don't want to deal with me. He know I'm gonna jump all over his butt like fried rice.
Your white man had his foot on his neck. So, okay, so let me do this because ABL, man, he's the right person for a topic like this. You know what I mean? And he's polarizing in that way. So George, the link. Okay, let's see what we have here now. Shoot out the okay. There's Prophet of Thought. All right, and I need somebody from the Negro Pen departments. So let's see if we get some Negro. Where's Team Negro Pens at? I need some Negro Pens. Kiriaki Jones. I need some Xanathos Clutch. I need some brothers who like white women to come on the show that I know. All right, I need some brothers. Dr. J. Okay, Dr. J. Hey, Dr. J, you available? Because Dr. J give niggas at work. I like Dr. J. Where's Dr. J at? Dr. J, you want to come on the show? That's a real doctor. You got a PhD. Brother, you want to come on? Because you are really good on this show. Okay. Yeah, I need some brothers that's going to give me that work tonight. Because I see the pro-black community is real deep tonight. But I can't have too many of you brothers on tonight. I got to have some brothers who... where's Nick Taylor at? Okay, hold on. Okay, yeah, okay. Don't worry. I got a panel for you niggas. Don't worry about nothing. Don't worry. I'm going to stop saying the word nigga one of these days because that God is not through with me yet.
I see my man, my comrade and colleague, George Makem is on, and my man, Brother X is on. Those are my colleagues. That's my
I need somebody.
Arms, man.
I got something for y'all, though. I'm gonna make life hard for y'all tonight, though. Don't worry about nothing.
Hey, where is Brendan Tatum? I like to get a piece of him.
Brendan Tatum probably somewhere on Fox News.
Get that brother on, because I know he would have a lot to say, too, on the opposite side.
Yeah, Brandon, I got a call. Yeah, Brandon and to y'all, man. Hold on. Somebody's saying Donovan. Donovan is not here though. Donovan is not here. No, Gab, I'm gonna get you on, but Donovan's not here though, so you can't take some. I need some people.
We need some opposite opinions. We can't have it flooded with the same opinions.
I can't have the Nation of Islam and the 5%ers all on the whole panel. Because, George can talk, man. He'll be talking about, he'll be teaching us African American history all night and shit. We ain't got time for all that. We need some people that's gonna come in and coon it up. I mean, come with a different opinion. I need somebody to own. Nick. Where's Nick at? Yeah. I need somebody like Nick. You cooning in Poland? You goddamn right I'm cooning in Poland. I'm gonna start by timing you out, smarty smart. Get him out of here. Yeah, I'm gonna be the white man tonight and put my foot on your neck. Get him out of here. Get his ass out of here. That's one thing I learned from these white folks, how to time you Negroes out. I hold you back in my own way in these chats. I'm holding you niggas back. All right, Dr. J. Okay, we got Dr. J. All right. Hold on. Okay, hold on. This is the only time I'm hating on pro-blacks, man, because I can't. Where's Black Ice at? Black Ice. Is Black Ice here? Okay, hold on. Let me get the Black Ice brother on here. Usually I won't let him come on here because he ain't from America, man. He got to pay a tax being on here with us African Americans, man. You can take your black ass on, nigga. You know, I will let you London niggas on here. Nah, I'll be fucking with him. He a good brother, man. Okay, so hold on. Let me say, I see my brother Moses and Gab. Okay, now Gab, I'm gonna need you to come on here and set it off, brother. Tonight, okay? Go ahead, come on, Richard, come on, bring your ass on, brother. Okay, the white man is holding you all the way back in London. Hit that link, brother. Brother Ben X. Do y'all see Brother Ben X here? You people are naming people who not fucking here. Get him out of here. Let's go to the wall. Won't you put Jesus on the panel? He not here. Get him out of here. Let's go. Okay, who we got now? We got Dr. J. We got Nick. Where's Super Sly at? Super Sly, where you at, man? The white man holding you back. Okay. All right. So I tell you what. No, don't hide him, Brother Aaron. Don't hide the brother. He didn't do nothing. He just said something stupid. No, unhide him, man. God damn, the real Aaron Collins ain't playing. He hiding niggas. Hold on, Nagone. Wait a minute, Nagone. Wait. Send me the link. Hold on, brother. I gotta make sure I got enough balance in the show, brother. I got you, brother. You gotta let me get my fuckery together, okay? You brother, just sit right there. I got you. Cause I gotta have enough fuckery in the mix. Okay, let me do my thing real quick. I got you. Okay, let's go ahead and introduce the panel right now. Let's see what Super Sly is doing. Okay, let's go ahead. I'm gonna start with Prophet of Thought series. We go Nick, George, and Dr. J. Go ahead, Prophet. Introduce yourself, brother.
Peace to everybody on the panel. Info Man, what's good? George Macon, what's good? I guess by now everybody knows who I am. I'm Brother Xavier from TPOT Media, the old Prophet of Thought series YouTube page. And as far as the subject goes, I think the term coon, we kind of overuse it because we don't just apply it to people who we think are Sambos or sellouts or race traders. We kind of throw it at anyone who disagrees with the mainstream Black collective ideal. And I think that's a problem because anyone that happens to disagree with us, we automatically throw coon at them. Now, mind you, there are some coons out there, but I think we kind of overuse it. I think we overuse the term at times. And plus, the term was co-opted from white folks anyway. That's the irony of it, that it was something that white folks used to say to us as a slur, an ethnic slur used towards Black people. So what we have done is we've bastardized the term, and now we're using it to throw slurs at other Black folks. So there's the irony in that.
Okay. So let's go ahead. Where is Superstar? The white man holding the back somewhere. Okay, let's go to Brother Nick. Brother Nick, thank you for coming on to the show, brother. And go ahead and have you introduce yourself.
Hey, everybody. What's up, dude?
What's up, man? We got to do a show this week, brother.
Oh, man. It's getting crazy. This time of year, I get shorthanded. This is when guys flip-flop, take turns taking holiday vacations and whatnot. Me being not in the pagan holiday thing, but I ain't going to stop them. But anyway, Nick Taylor, Detroit fellow that lives in South Texas, small business owner. Everybody know me. I tend to consider myself way more conservative than I am liberal. I've never been a liberal in my life. Liberalism is a mental disorder to me. Just all around try to stay well-rounded and see things from everybody's point of view, unless it's just so far off the rail that it's nonsensical to even give it a chance. That's it. But here I am.
Okay. Let me go to Brother George. Brother George, he was acting pretty light-skinned. He got on Tommy's show and Phil That Bias show, and he got too good for this part of YouTube. So he just came back off of the Pro Black tour. He on the third box every week, but he can't come on the show. But it's all good. Go ahead, brother. Let them know about the show. Let them know about your channel, man, and what your channel is about.
Hey, man, just subscribe to George Macon. But yeah, I'm just getting off that European Union tour with Donovan Sharp, man. We've been kidnapping them white women, man. My top trusted lieutenant, man. Donovan Sharp, man. European Union want answers, man. My channel, George Macon. This is going to be an interesting topic tonight, because we are fully integrated people and indoctrinated in this Western culture. We speak their language. We carry their names. We work in their industry. So all these different things, we broke off into different subgroups, and we be conditioned to look at each other different. All you got to do is go look at Du Bois when he first wrote The Talent in 10th, and then look at what happened years later when he criticized The Talent in 10th. And look at how Carter G. Woodson criticized it. And then we'll just go from there. Because every educated black man that has an opposing view, he's not a coon. He's just a product, all levels. We're a product of this Western culture, how we've been conditioned to be divided. I just start off with that. Okay.
And let's go to Dr. J, PhD. Good to see him. Brother Dr. J, and I'm going to start off with Dr. J because you said something pretty interesting. But Nagone and Gab, I'm going to get you guys on. Let me get the panel started here. Dr. J, thank you for coming on the show, brother. Tell some people, I know you're not a YouTuber, but just tell people a little bit about your channel and stuff like that.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, hold on. The white man is trying to hold your volume back, brother. Let me go ahead and change your volume because this is white man. He's trying to hold you back, brother. Okay, hold on. Okay, go ahead. I can hear you now.
All right, I appreciate that, man. I don't want to make no excuses now. I'm just educated brother, got 3 degrees. I'm all for that. But to me, coon, it represents the most ignorant form of a nigga. So I know in this operational definition on this panel, we're talking about coons being elitist blacks or blacks that, tend to not make excuses. But to me, a coon is the most uneducated, ignorant form of a black person.
Okay, I'm gonna start off with you. You made a comment that you tired of all these pro-black excuses.
Correct.
Okay, I think we're about to have a set-off moment. Don't hold back, brother. Just trying to make sure you don't send it to Patreon. What do you mean when you say you tired of all these pro-black excuses?
Oh, my God. We get the constant barrage of the history lesson of redlining, this, that, and the third. We currently, modern day times, the last 50 years, hell, the last 20 years, we are not impacted by a lot of those policies, the whole thing of slavery holding us back. I worked in the inner city school system past 3 years. Okay. They're afforded numerous opportunities, numerous scholarships, plenty of money, plenty of funding. But their parents and themselves have a fucked up value system. And so we want to make all these cop-outs. It's easy to blame the white man, and it's easy to make excuses.
I can see I'm about to set it off tonight, goddammit. It's about to happen.
No.
It's about to happen, goddammit. We got a goddamn.
No, George.
I know, we got a goddamn coon. I know, because I disagree and I don't make excuses. Heaven forbid. Heaven forbid. I say take personal accountability. Yeah, I don't care about no damn history lesson, man. We all know how to read. Awesome. But do we know how to comprehend what we're reading? Do we know how to apply it into action?
You just said 2 different things, though. You just contradicted yourself.
Wait, let him.
I'm gonna get no. All right, I'm gonna mute.
I'm gonna let you talk.
Go ahead, sir.
No. Doctor, it's your turn. You gotta go wait turn.
Oshay, all these emotional-based arguments. We can't even have a simple discord. If you disagree, cool. But I mean, what are you getting so charged up for, man?
Finish your point.
God damn. I just don't understand why, if you don't want to make excuses for why you're in the current state that we're in or the current state of our people is in, why that makes you a coon. I'm just so baffled by that statement. But we celebrate the thug culture and the fuckery. I just don't get it. We don't make no excuses for the nigga selling dope on the corner. But if I make if I don't want to make an excuse for the anything that's going on in our community, something's wrong with me. Because I do things the right way. I went to school. I got a job, heaven forbid that. And I don't make excuses about some phantom white man holding me back. I'm a coon.
The white man did hold my. Go ahead. All right, George. Go ahead.
I got a problem when he talked about history, and as if what happened in the past don't affect the present and the future. This is what I got a problem with. I'm not calling him a coon for having an education. I got a problem with the drug dealer, the killer too. I come from that culture and environment, but we can't just look at what happened to us in the past and think that it doesn't affect us now. We have a whole historical account as to how it's affecting us on many different levels. This brother got education. Great. We need the brother in the community. We need that brother's skill set teaching the community. But don't disrespect what our ancestors went through just 50 years ago for you to even be able to have an education. Everybody wasn't able to get it the way that you got it. But this is what Du Bois was forming the talent at 10 for in the beginning for anyway, for an exceptional men to get an education and begin to help the masses. But what they did was get fully integrated and say, fuck the community. And he spoke about that. Carter G. Woodson spoke about that. So don't disrespect history as if it don't affect us today. So I'm not calling you a coon because you're educated.
Okay. I understand your point referring to the history, but my point is that's where the disconnect comes with the millennials. How do you reach them when they really don't give a fuck about the history lesson that you're teaching?
You reach them by us coming together to create things. They don't give a fuck because they don't understand it. They've been conditioned not to respect the people that stood there before them. That's part of the conditioning in this culture. You got it. You understand the history. We have to see. What I'm saying is the Jews take their history and they fuel that for them going forward. That's why they have those never forget moments. That's why they make sure that they people and the world remember what they went through, and they feel that they use that as fuel. We disrespect our history, and this is why we can't get anywhere because we think we accept it, and we're not.
I'm with you on the integration shit. Integration was the worst thing to happen for our people. That was the biggest lie we were told and sold. The biggest bag of bullshit goods that we were sold. I'm a product of HBCUs, got all my degrees there. So I don't subscribe to the white man's PWI institution or the white man's ISIS coder. Okay, so we agree on a lot of things, but with the excuse making, just because you was dealt a fucked up hand to begin with, don't mean that you got to accept that. You get what I'm saying?
I agree
you got to
with
be able to rise above and make shit happen. Just because there's so much fuckery going on around you, don't mean you have to succumb to it.
I agree with that.
It's easier to succumb to it. I don't doubt it, and I fully acknowledge that it's easier to succumb to selling drugs, robbing, stealing, breaking into houses and cars and shit. But you still are afforded the same opportunity as Billy across the tracks as far as sitting your ass in the classroom, shutting the fuck up, paying attention, and getting your lessons.
Well, the only thing I will say to you on that, we're not under the same. We're not under this. A lot of them are not under the same psychological conditionings that we've been under, because of what happened to us. So we're operating differently, even though all of a sudden they say, well, we're afforded to the same rights. And another issue that I would say is the so-called educated people are not working together to create economic streams to further help our people. We're integrated into their societies. And then we're turning around and we're looking down. Our ancestors didn't fight for us to be doing what we're doing today. They fought for us to create an economics where we can pass it down to the masses of our people because of what happened to us. We're not doing that. But then we turn around and criticize the same people, the conditions we come from. Fuck them. I'm getting away from them where our ancestors didn't do that. That's my only issue. I'm not going to call you a coon for being educated. I need you to come in the community with your skill set.
But the community don't want me and my skill set.
It doesn't matter if the community don't want you or not.
Wait, hold on, wait a minute. Wait. Information man, I see you creeping.
Well, I wanted to say,
Information man, hold on. Information man, hold on. I see you. I see you creeping. You see, you ain't slick. I see when you creeping. You think I don't see you? You trying to creep and get in there. Hold on. I want to stop right there. Information man think he's slick. He's getting ready to do a filibuster. I know all his tricks, though. Hold on, wait. Let me do this. Dr. J said something important. George, you take yourself off mute. We got slide. Okay. So in the going, I'm going to send you a link. Clutch, whoever click it first, right? Now we got somebody that's going to see. I need another polarizing person to get this thing started. We got
Let me just say this real quick, 2 seconds. Okay. But no, the brother ain't no coon. I don't see the brother as a coon. I'm not going to call my educated brothers with skill sets coons. And I'll say that I'm going to mute my mic because I got to get back cooking. Just because our people are conditioned not to want you in the community don't mean that you can't affect the community. You don't have to be in the community to affect the community. We got to come together and begin to create certain things for the people in the community, because that's what our ancestors did. But no, brother, I'm not calling you a coon. I'm going to mute my mic. Yeah.
No, he's a good brother. Let me do this, though. He said something important. He said the community don't want my skill sets. Is that what you said?
That's correct. They don't want my skill sets. I'm an outsider. I'm foreign. I'm not like them, quote unquote. Even though I pretty much am. My brother got shunned from our family for selling dope. So I fully understand what the fuck they talking about and what they going through.
But that don't represent the whole community. That don't represent the whole community at all. That, to me, that's the excuse that we make. Because it's sort of, I'm going to give you an example. I'll give you the flip side of that. It's sort of like when I was coming out of selling drugs and here I am a felon, I would say, man, they're not going to give me a job. They don't want me over there. Man, they're not going to accept me. is an excuse because that don't represent everybody in the community. There's some groups that talk that way, but it's a lot of people in the community that need you, that need your skill set. We got to stop talking like that, roll up our sleeves and just get in and do it.
Mm-hmm.
What does getting in and do it look like, sir? In your
It's getting in and do it. Getting in and do it is like what all the other groups do. Us so-called educated ones, the ones that want to. If you don't want to, then fine. But the ones that care enough to do, we got to get together and start creating things. Educational system, economic streams. We got to get together and create things that our ancestors was trying to do, and then what they fought for. And if we know the history, if you're educated, you know what our ancestors was doing and the legacy that they left for us to do today with the opportunities that we do have. Only if you care, though.
I would say
that was a very broad.
Hold on. He won't filibuster anyway. Let's let him. I'm gonna come back. George, hold on. Let's let information man get his filibuster because he gonna keep getting in there. We might as well let him go ahead and say what we gotta say. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say to the doctor, there are organizations like my organization. I'm a member of Alpha Phi Alpha.
I'm a member of Phi Beta Sigma, so I get it.
So you already know what I'm about to say to you, brother. You know, we have a program called Project Alpha. I'm sure your organization has something like that, where we try to go into the community, where we don't try, we do. We mentor. We have brothers that are working with in the school system, so we can identify young black males in particular who are sort of like, you know, twiddling on the side of the fence, and we're trying to get them back on track. And we also have in the Sacramento area where I'm at, we have a program where we deal with the mothers and the fathers who are not either involved in a child's life for some reason or are. Have you ever thought about, because I know in our organization, we look for brothers like yourself to come out, talk to young men who need to see black professionals. Have you, I'm pretty sure you're probably doing that in your organization, but have you sought other organizations? Because when I talk about the whole issue around coon or Sambos or sellouts, and I heard you saying to Brother Macon, I'm including, if you had a chance to hear what I was saying in my diatribe today, I was including those that do destruction to our community, such as gangs and people out there that are selling drugs and peddling that type of death to our people. I think they're just as bad as the Ku Klux Klan hanging us in the past because they're selling death to our people. So I would include all of that. And I also mentioned that no matter what your political background is, I don't really care if you're doing something that's a detriment. And this is where I'm going with this. How do you feel about black people or black men or women, whether it be conservative or Democrat, who will try to say we don't need certain programs anymore and realize the fact that you're also impacting that young lady or that young black male who ain't a thug, who ain't in a gang, who might be in a screwed up school, a bad public school, but they happen to get their grades up and they're happy to have aspiration to go to college, and they might just need a little bit of help. I was in a program myself called Summer Bridge Program, where it allowed you to spend a summer, half of your summer, in a tutorial program preparing you for your first semester going into college. And if it was not for that type of program, it could hurt a lot of people. And when we talk about affirmative action, nobody addresses, as I said earlier, the fact that even if you get in school under affirmative action, the goddamn examination that you take is not an affirmative action examination. You taking the same damn exam as everybody else. You're going to sink and swim. You're just getting an equal opportunity into the system. How do you feel about black people like the Ward Connolly here in California some years ago, or even, as I gave example, any black person, conservative or Democrat, who says, pick yourself up by your bootstrap, even though they benefited from these programs, and now they want to close the door on a young black male or female out there who might need that assistance, but they're doing it in the name of saying that we done made some progress. We done got over the top of the mountain. Everything is okay. Black people have made it. We can kick back now. And when you know in reality, and I'm one brother that has been in the community where I had to deal with gang members. And guess what? Those gang members said, nobody mess with the alphas, because they didn't want their cousins and sisters being involved in illegal activity like they were involved in. So they didn't mess with us. They saw that we were doing something positive, but we weren't preachy. We weren't telling them what to do, but we were doing what had to be done. And we always said, take the goddamn ball and run with it. No goddamn excuses, because you know, like me, that excuses are tools of the incompetent, and those who use them seldom succeed, brother. I will shut up. I know I said a mouthful. What are your thoughts?
Okay, hold on one second. I'll let you respond quickly, Jay, but we got to go ahead and move the panel.
I understand, because other people got something to got to speak to. I appreciate that.
I'm gonna start holding y'all back like the white man on this panel. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that, O'Shea. Thank you.
I saw you creeping. I saw that little. I saw your mic get unmuted, and I started looking at you. You know, I know your movements. You know, go ahead, Dr. J.
Yeah, he touched on a host of things. I done forgot half of them. Forgive me if I don't answer all your queries. But the main point is, do I still believe in affirmative action? Yes. Is it still necessary? Yes. I'm not a conservative that doesn't that has his head up his ass to where I don't see racism still exists. Okay. Racism is alive and well. I'm not an ABL. I'm not a damn Tatum.
Okay.
But at the same time, I've been on the ground. I worked at a Title I school 3 years. I've seen as Obsidian would say, I've seen the black female fuckery firsthand, alive and well. I've been a football coach, done the Sigma Beta Club. That's our youth auxiliary group, reaching the high school students. But to touch on your point, if me and 30 of the alumni brothers come into a school, our school is 99.9% black, 1,300 kids. Us 30 brothers come in, we can maybe make an impact on 30 males if we take them under our wing. What does that do for the other 1,270? You get what I'm saying? Yes. I can do my part. I can make a dent, but I'm not even breaking the damn surface. Is my point.
Okay.
So the problems within our community overall are so systemic and widespread, primarily due to the broken home structure. We can touch on all these other fucking issues, and I listen to a lot of Obsidian. I listen to, everybody on the panel, and the one thing that I agree with in his regard is the shit starts at home and within the family. We're the only people ran by our women. Someone talked about the Jews. I think it was George Macon. The Jews, the Mexicans, every other nationality, race and ethnicity. Their men are the ones that are leading the communities because they have strong families intact. Our out-of-wedlock birth rate is fucking deplorable. It's horrendous, and it is one of the primary factors to our people being in poverty, the school to prison pipeline, as they put it. We have so many positive things that we can do, but we choose to do a different thing. Even when we show our people a different way, they still choose what's easy, which is the fuckery that them and their families succumb to. Mm-hmm. I'm a football coach, and I've told O'Shea this story before. They'll come to me more concerned about their kids' playing time rather than why their kid got 3 Fs.
I would agree with you, brother. I've had that experience before. So.
Okay, let me do this. It's like Gab dropped off. Gab, the white man holds you back. Let me do this. Get the likes up. Guys, thank you for all the super chat support. Thank you, Brother Maurice. Thank you, Brother Arain. Arain is selling some collard greens. That nigga he got a lot. Thank you, brothers, for all the support, okay? Do me a favor. We got a hell of a show. Super Slides here. He ain't got his buddy ABL. And if you guys want the Thirst Box, I'm about to work in a Super Slide on that Thirst Box. We're going to have some fun with that. So thanks for all the support. Like the video, guys. If I can get 200 people to like the video, let me go to Black Ice TV. Okay, and the reason why I want to go to the Black Ice TV is because he's from Britain. So I want to know, what's your perspective? I mean, the brother Dr. J said that the black community, they don't want talented blacks like him. He has a what? I mean, I'm going to go down the list of his accomplishments. Bachelor's of Science in Biochemistry, Master's degree in Physical Chemistry, PhD in Environmental Science. So we have a person that went to a historically black college and university. I know they don't have those in England. Here's a guy that got a grant to get a PhD, earned a PhD, went to FAMU, saying that black people don't even appreciate his talent. What do you have to say about that? And from you've been to America quite a few times. What's your perspective on a brother that has his talent level that can help the community a whole lot, but he has these things to say? What would you say about that, Brother Richie?
I mean, it's a sad thing straight away to hear someone say that. But again, we got to separate the difference between the the broken community that is obvious, and the still functioning conscious community that is still working in different ways and means to uplift and create a perpetual change. It's easy for us to just look at the landscape and say, well, it's done. It's a done deal. It's over with. But the realness of it is change starts from the individual, to the family, to the village, to the town, to the city, and so on and so forth. So we can never undermine the individual efforts of a person. The brother was saying, look, if 30 of us take 30 guys under our wing, but there's still the remaining 1,200 or so students left. I hear that. It's a daunting task. But by you starting that 30, it will start a perpetual change. And that's what we got to believe in. And this is where we got to understand the connective tissue between actions and where it's going to lead. And we got to review history properly, as George was saying. If we don't see the connection between history till now, and we don't understand why our people are making these choices and why they're morally compromised and why the black family's not together, we'll forever be chasing our tails and blaming each other, as we mostly do. But when you start to understand that that past is directly affecting your future, it's directly affecting your present, that's when you start to be accountable, truly accountable for your actions. Because again, being a coon, for me, there's always personal choices you can make for yourself to better your circumstances and better your community. But being a coon is when you get to a point where you think there is no systemic problem with society. That to me is when you're cooning. Yeah, you did a show a while back on mentoring. Is it something that's necessary? I remember Mr. Sly over there talking about he doesn't believe that it's something that should happen or needs to happen. And again, this is a defeatist attitude that we got to get rid of. Because if we understand all the tax that we're under in the UK, to the USA, to wherever else in the world, then we have to understand the importance of mentoring our youth, whether it is a small number or not, to affect that change.
Okay, let me sorry, you have anything else you want to add to that? I'll let Superstar respond to that, but do you have anything else you want to add to that right now? Black Eyes?
No, that was it. And again, go to Black Eyes TV and check out what we do in the UK.
Okay. Let's go to Superstar. Superstar, you heard what he had to say. What's your thoughts about? I see you got the nice new mic, brother. God, Hotep. What do you have to say?
Fuck the community. Survival of the fittest. Fuck the ancestors. Because guess what? Y'all haven't learned nothing from the ancestors. That's your only argument. Let's look what the ancestors did. We ain't got time for all that. I'm tired of hearing y'all expound about, well, the problem with the household. We know what the problems are. The issue is the motherfuckers you need to fix the problem don't want to be bothered. Okay? So you can sit here and call me defeatist and call me negative, a pessimist, negative Nancy. Guess what? The niggas you need to fix your fucking problems don't want to be bothered with you and your people. Okay? I'm tired of watching videos of your punk ass, your little badass kids fighting teachers, white, black, Latino, indifferent. Okay? Y'all live in a fantasy land. And if there's and I'll tell any black person listening to my voice, if there's a chance for you to move up the ladder to take care of you and yours, then do it. If that makes you a coon, then fucking be the best coon possible. Because y'all niggas living in fantasy land. Y'all really think y'all gonna turn this shit around with the black community? Good luck with that. And I'll be sitting here laughing at y'all, watching you guys chase your fucking tails. Because trust and believe, there's a lot more motherfuckers that think just like me that you guys care to realize. It is what it is. So either you're gonna save who you can and be done with it. This diaspora, this Wakanda shit y'all it's not gonna happen. Okay, you got too many splinter groups of black folks that don't want to come together for whatever reason. All right, survival of the fittest. That's it. That's all. Fuck all this. Not y'all want to hear yourselves talk and sound intelligent and shit. I fuck with the dude Dr. J, but I'm just a little bit more extreme with the shit. I'm gonna say what motherfuckers don't want to say. Fuck all this nonsense. Fuck all these motherfuckers. Survive. To save yourself. Save. Do what you can do for your family. Put yourself in a better position to move up the ladder. The hell with everybody else. If you choose to help somebody that you feel deserves it, that's worth it, then do so. But you don't owe anybody anything. Fuck the dumb shit. Nobody owe you nothing. Nobody owe your punk ass kids nothing. If you're not adding to the problem, y'all just want to hear yourselves talk at the end of the fucking day.
Let me ask you this. I mean, that was some extreme shit. But I mean, this is you, so I shouldn't be shocked.
Don't be.
I mean, but why don't you think black people want to help each other out? I mean, obviously there's good black people that want to, try to form communities. I mean, we have a little bit of a community here with this little Rumble show and stuff like that. Like, why don't you think other black people can do it?
Just look at us. However you feel about the talented 10th, I have my own issues about the Boule members. But guess what? Boule members help Boule members, okay? And if they think you can add to their cause, they're going to help you too. Every nigga don't deserve to be in the talented 10th. Now, I'm not going to get into the narrative of what their agenda is and who they serve, but they recognize something in their own or individuals that say, hey, you know what? He can add to the cause, okay? You just can't go into the lodge and become a Mason, okay? They got to see something in you that's going to add to them, period, point blank. And these splinter groups of black people are operating the same way. They're thinking, how can you add to our cause? We fuck the whole entire black community, because a lot of people don't identify with the entire black community. And then when you talk about conscious community, I don't fuck with them like that. They're parasites. So if you come to me with some conscious community, you need help.
Right now. You been
hey, hold on,
wait, what it is.
Wait, hold on,
man.
Hold on, George.
You come in here, kick y'all asses out your own
community shit. Fuck
hoods.
the conscious community.
Y'all niggas are useless.
That ain't what I'm talking about.
Conscious community.
Hold on. Wait a minute.
No, let me tell you why he been hypocritical.
Useless.
Because he know.
Okay, hold on. Wait. One at a time.
This man right here know all about the secret societies and stuff.
I go to is number white people.
Yeah. He don't want me to lay his ass out because he already know.
He's gonna bust motherfuckers up.
Wait.
Fuck the conscious community. We ain't talking about that. I ain't talking about that. I'm telling you why you being a hypocrite.
I wasn't even talking to you, George, but
I'm talking to you, nigga. I'm telling you why you being a hypocrite. I'm talking to you right now.
Ain't about shit. Yo, conscious
hypocrite
ain't about shit. Y'all ain't gonna bust a goddamn break with ain't like folks.
Wait. Too many niggas. Hold on. George, I'll come right to you and just let me do this real quick. Too many niggas. Let me do the proper thought. George, I'm gonna come back to you. y'all are crazy. This is why I'm gonna stop doing these shows. I blame Information Man because this is his topic. All right, so he it's his fault. Go ahead, brother. Prophet of Thought series. Prophet, you heard what Super Slash 75 said. It is harsh. He said some harsh shit. I would never say no shit like that. But again, that's why he's a panelist, and I would never say that. But what do you think? What do you think about what Super Slash just said?
I agree with him to a certain extent, but I agree with him to the fact that, when we talk about these so-called coons, that we equate with white thinking and white talking points and all this kind of stuff, why are we even concerned with people that we consider coons? If we consider them to be so much of a coon, why do we even care? Why do we care if they're around? Why do we care if they're in our neighborhoods? Why do we care if they're inside our circle of influence? They're coons, right? They're all about the white man. They're all about white this and white that, and they throw black folks underneath the bus and all that kind of stuff. Why are we even concerned with them at all? Because obviously, if we have labeled them as coons, that means that they are totally useless to black folks. So why even be concerned with them? They are no use to us. Let them go off and do their coon shit. And the people who are not coons, we build with those. Why are we concerned with the so-called coons and sellouts and sambos? And why do we feel like they are such a big part of what we need to do as black folks.
Can I answer that?
Hold on, information man. Hold on. Wait a minute. Let's let other people talk. Hold on, I'll let you do that. Let's. You want to finish on that? Any more you want to say on that, Brother X? I don't want to.
Yeah, I mean, I think we give them too much credit. I mean, I think we get a kick out of being able to label someone a coon, because now we can take whatever circumstances that they are in, or how they live their life, or how they speak, what they do for a living. We like being able to throw that coon title at them, no matter what. And like I said earlier, we have a tendency to call anyone a coon who disagrees with us. So what level of coons are we talking about? Because when I hear the word coon, especially on media, it applies to a whole bunch of people. It applies to people who talk about baby mamas. It applies to people who talk about street dudes and crack sellers and crackheads and dope heads and illegitimate kids and all that kind of nonsense. Whatever level of coonery we're talking about, whatever level of coonery we're talking about, we need to throw these people away. If we consider them so bad, why do we care about them? Or are we trying to turn them around? Are we trying to reform these coons? Are we trying to bring them back into the black collective and make them not coons anymore? I don't understand.
Okay.
Hey, can I respond?
Hold on, George. Let me let Nick Taylor and the Going Way in. I'll go back because I gotta let other, because I got 35,000 people on the panel today. The white man he packed the panel up. Okay, let's go ahead for the Nick, and you guys go on mute. I'll come right to you, George, and we'll let you superstar talking. Go ahead, Nick.
Thanks, Duke. Hey, and what's up to everybody on the panel? Hey, before I start, the black shark. I knew it was coming. Hey, listen, I'm not gonna get diarrhea of the mouth on this. I've heard a whole bunch of good stuff on here, but one thing everybody tends to, not everybody, some people tend to ignore. I'll use that word, ignore. They tend to lay their allegiance and who they label a coon and whatnot. I've heard people say it has nothing to do with political affiliation, but it does. Just like I'll take, for example, I understand trying to help people, but I'm from the hood, even though I don't live in the hood no more, because there is no way in hell I'm going to sit here and lie to myself and say that I'd be able to do what I'm doing now if I was still on Detroit's west side. It ain't happening. It just ain't happening because the inhabitants of Detroit west side ain't having it. They wasn't having it when I was there and we were kids. You think they're going to let it happen now? Now, the handful of us that was like me that ran in my little crew just doing things, and I got a couple of guys I went to school with, they are larger than life. And know what they tell me to do? Well, they can't tell me. We friends. We love each other dearly. Man, bruh, I know what you're getting after, but like they're talking about the video I put up yesterday about how to select vehicles for if you're doing local transportation and courier service. He said, man, notice the people, but I knew this already going in. Notice the people that's calling you names and this, that, and other about doing what you do. They don't have any videos showing people, up like you got. The only thing they do is talk shit. And that's what they do. I'm telling you, I go back and forth to Detroit every now and again. The older I get, the less I go. Because the more things change, the more things stay the same. And before anybody go with Duke and you and the Shark, y'all already know, y'all know who I am. You know I'm married to a black woman, always been married to a black woman. I have nothing against other women. But this one just happened to be mine. You know what I'm saying? And that the only children I have is from her. And only children she have is from me. But they take that, then would you need to come back? What do you mean come back? I was here. And what did you do when I was here? You done everything you could to try to, nigga, all smart and shit. What is this? You getting good grade? Why this nigga always studying books and stuff? What? Because I want, white man's books. Okay, then what are you doing? So, and Duke, the chat is flying. I don't know if you can slow it down some. It's like,
I see it.
But you got that stuff going. Then if I don't do what somebody else think I should do, then you're labeled a coon. But wait a minute, I don't hurt people. I employ people. I instruct people. I try to help people get a business idea on certain things. Yes. Everyone's not going to be a rocket scientist. Everyone's not going to be a doctor, all this other stuff. Everybody ain't going to be like Truth Teller 410, you know what I mean, a reverse osmosis system designer. Okay. But so I try to help the ones you can, but it's only so far. Why would I risk life and limb? Because I have a family. I built a brand. I am loyal to my brand and to the people that are loyal to me. I am not loyal to people that talk that SHIT. Well, you won't come back because I ain't come back because I ain't fucking with you. You know, I mean, but there's lots of blacks I've helped, and there's even many more that I don't want nothing to do with. It ain't because you black. It's because of the bullshit that you bring. Okay. Every opportunity you've had from anybody, the streets is watching, and that including me, that you've had, so you jumped over all that other stuff, but I'm supposed to believe that me moving my ass back to Detroit's west side and trying to talk to them Negroes on Finkel and Schaefer is going to help the system. I'm going to explain to them the history of all right, if I tell, that's like me trying to tell them, y'all know the NAACP was founded by white people. Moorfield Story and Mary Ovington and all these other stuff, and they're the leftovers from the Springfield riots. These Negroes going to look at me like I'm crazy. They don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Don't think they think is NAACP is supposed to be helping black people. I'm not, and also the affirmative action, I don't care. But if anybody are honest with themselves, they would know that even the affirmative action network admits more white women have benefited from affirmative action than black males and females combined. Don't listen to me. Listen, who you gonna believe? Your mouth or they lying eyes? You know what I mean? They tell you this. I don't care. I don't need the ones that need it, great. Take it. I don't need it. I don't want it. But just because I don't want it, that don't mean I don't think that you shouldn't have it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's the way I roll. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and act and fake it, try to fake it out like I don't know what's happening. So because I do this, I'm a coon. A coon is somebody that's doing something that you think they doing it without you. I mean, it's the weirdest crap in the world. I'm like, okay, what are you going to do to unfuck yourself? If you're not even going to try to unfuck yourself, why should I spend time, energy, and money trying to unfuck somebody that don't want to get unfucked?
Okay. No, good stuff. Okay, let me go to Brother Nagone. Nagone, go ahead and we'll go to another topic here. I'm just letting everybody get their little first things off. So you're going go ahead, Nagone, and then we'll go back to the another topic. Go ahead.
Okay, we talk about this cooning thing. One of the things I have to say, first of all, I will come up with and say this. You know, I've lived around plenty of white folks, lived around black folks, see how black people's attitudes are, so forth. As far as this white man, I'm gonna say for a lot of us, we love him. We love this white man. We love him. As much as us, we want to sit back here and say a lot of stuff and say, well, I'm black power. We love this white man. I'm not saying myself, but we love this white man. We love him. We don't hold him accountable for anything. We come down on ourselves, and people say victim narrative, try to shame you. And they're talking about some of the things that have gone on in our history and our past. We bring it up, and you try to shame you as to not bringing it up. White man has been the biggest affirmative action recipient of all time. He has gotten some of the craziest, affirmative action that you ever spoke about, that you can think of. any problem that we have in our community, we want to blame it strictly on ourselves. That's fair enough. I certainly believe that we create a lot of, we have a lot of problems that we have to solve. One of the things I do work with kids over at the Harlem Children's Zone. I need to put a little more time in there. I've been a little bit short of it this last about 2 weeks or so, but really putting more time there and working with young black kids, youth, black boys, primarily little black girls too, tutoring them, helping them. I mean, our own educational systems that we're developing really do a lot for us. And that's something that I think advances us. A brother information man who speaks about, Alpha Phi Alpha, which I'm a member of, and the programs that we have working with youth. People want to call the boule. I know a lot of people are very uptight about that because we do have a black type of class thing going on. So the boule and the fraternities and these kind of things play some bit of class role. Some people are offended by that because they think that that's class. But certainly a lot of us do work with kids in our community, and I think some of that has, some of the people who have this class issue, they got to come off of that a little bit and say, okay, maybe I got to break down and work with these guys because I've got my problems. So we do have our own problems internally. There's no question about it. But as far as this whole cooning thing, I would have to say cooning is kind of what we do, and too many of us love this white man. We don't want to call him out. I've looked at this voter suppression piece that has gone on in these last few elections, especially here in the South. Over this last election here, and I see a lot that has gone on with respect to keeping people, black people from voting. And folks say, "Well, I'm a black man. How come you ain't out there? How come you out there push it? Here's your problem." Okay, yeah, we should, but we're not calling out this man who's also suppressing our votes. We ain't calling his ass out. In fact, we're wrong to do that. So anytime you call out the son that who's who's causing a lot of the problems, or has helped to create them, you're wrong. Okay, I have no problem calling out this black female, man, these ratchet black females. I have no problem calling them out. I have no problem calling out this Pookie and Ray Ray bullshit. My 20-year-old nephew was killed going to work at night, over there in New Jersey, Plainfield, going to work at a hospital. So Pookie and Ray Ray came and shot his ass. All right, I don't have any affinity for these people. Okay, so we definitely have our own issues that we have to work with, and we're working with them. But at the same time, the coons, as far as I'm concerned, they don't call out all of the problems that we have because if you're going to look at a problem, you got to deal with everything equally. You have to deal with it. And the coons, they don't want to do that. They want to blame it all on you and then shame you into calling out all of the issues of our community. And that sometimes that's going to be required to call out that white man. But since the bread is getting buttered on that side of the fence, they don't like black people themselves. This is you run into a lot of that. So I understand how some of this works. I certainly do. But some of this cooning, I do believe we do have, and we should have no problem calling some of this out. As far as this white man is concerned, in our community, with many of us, we love this white man. We love him, and we don't call his ass out the way we should. Anybody uptight about that? Fuck y'all.
Let me do this. Now somebody's echoing. Hold on. Who's that echoing? That's George, the white man, got your echoing on his back. Let me just say this real quick. I want to get in on this, and we'll go to super chats and we'll go to the next topic. I think the reason why these hangouts and shout out to Brother Gab. Gab, if you will come back on, brother, I was wanting to get your info. Want you to come on tonight. He was here and he left. So if Brother Gab is out there, if you can come back on, he left the hangout. I don't know what happened, but if you can come back on, Brother Gab, that'd be great. Let me just say this. I deal with everybody in different pockets of Black YouTube, and I think my channel and these hangouts are what's going on in Black America with different people. You have people who feel disenfranchised from Black America, which is what I hear with Dr. J and Nick Taylor. So you have the successful people who feel like they've been getting a raw deal in Black America, and you have people that super sly. It sounds, like what niggas over. You have that tone. You have the people like George and Black Ice TV. And you have people that are a little bit more balanced, and the information man George and Black Ice are probably a little bit more to the court. And then you have somebody like Prophet of Thought series who sees things kind of like in the middle. This is what I want to see. This is what I want to say about what's going on in Black America. I think that with black people expect you to be monolithic in thought. And what I think that Nagone said is very true. A lot of people are mad at white people not because they want black independence. A lot of black people who call other people coons or other people sellouts and saying that we got a bad deal, they really want, I would say, not necessarily white acceptance, but they want the things that white people have. They would like to be in their communities. They would like to go to their schools. They would like to live next to them. This is why I think if you look at anybody that has a channel talking about white folks or white man ain't shit, I will just look where they live at. You know, if they're doing really good, those people, I'm not calling any names or anything, but you know, they will have houses that are in white neighborhoods. They go to the schools with white people. I think that's what we have. And I think to a certain degree, I think that anybody who doesn't want black people to be independent and try to be as independent from white people that you can be, I would call that person somewhat of a coon. I would have to do that. It doesn't really matter what my thing is. If you are a black person and you really want to be where white people are at, you really want to be integrated into the system, and you don't really want to try to do things for yourself. And I mean, I understand Super Sly's point because his point is well taken. Is very good. But I think we have some underlying part of Black America that doesn't that wants no part, or their whole thing is they want to pretend to be mad at white people, but really they want to live right to them. And that's a section of Black America that I think is bad. For me, I can say on my show and just my little small pockets of Black YouTube, this year was the most successful year for me as far as, you know, views and all of that. I've done it with what I call playing small ball. And you guys know what small ball is. That means you create content with small or unknown YouTubers, and it goes big. That's what I call, George knows what I'm talking about. I call it small ball. And it just goes to show you that we have the ability to do a lot of things on our own. And the next topic I want to talk about is, can we do things without white people? And I think that a lot of group of blacks are just afraid. The overall thing is, we are in the system, right? We use the dollar and everything like that. But you have a group of black people who just don't feel that, they just feel that the white man's ice is always colder. I have a problem with those groups of blacks. I've always had I had a big problem with black people who don't feel like you can do things with other black people. You can do things with other black that are positive, that are self-sustaining. It don't have to be as great as what white people are doing. It don't have to be as big right now. But, you know, you have blacks that are talented. You know, this is a very talented podcast. Me and Super Sly make great shows. I've done a show with at least almost everybody on here before. It just goes to show you that black people can come together and work together. And I like to start right there. But you have some people who just don't even feel they will have any reason to knock that down. Those are the black people that I have a big problem with. And it rubs me the wrong way. So I think when we're talking about coon, I don't think it depends on if you like Donald Trump or what you think politically. Now, obviously, if you're catering to white people and you're saying certain things to appease whites, that's evident. But I think the actions of a lot of negative blacks who just want to tear other blacks down, they go out of their way to try to down talk a black person who is trying to do very good things. I have a problem with that. I have a problem with those kind of people. And I'm not saying that, like, what Super Sly is saying is we do have a big problem. Those are evident. He's just telling you what he sees. But he's not going after black people, not trying to support them. I mean, Super Sly is supporting people all the time in Black YouTube. He talks a lot of shit. But see, he can be honest and say how he feels. You have a lot of black people that feel like how he feels, and they go out and try to tear folks down. And that's where I'm at. And they're just looking to do things to impress white people. Oh, take me. I'll take the crumbs or something like that. I kind of have a little bit of issue with people like that. Because at the end of the day, white people are never going to accept you like that. They're just not. I mean, it's very evident. Whenever you move in, they move out. No matter what your education level is, your income, white people really don't want anything to really do with you on so many levels. I've seen that here in Europe. I've seen it in the United States. So that's just my thing. I won't say anything else for the rest of the show. I just want to, put my takes in on those things and how I feel. But again, I think that we need a diversity of thought. I think it's necessary for everybody on this panel to say what they're saying. And I think that the problem is we sometimes also think that people are coons when they're not. Just because somebody tells you how they feel about how they see Black America or how they see certain things, that don't make you a coon. And I think that we need to be very more aware that everybody's not going to see Black America like you. They don't. Okay? I don't see Black America like none of you niggas on this panel. Okay? I mean, I have to call you. I have some thoughts here and there. I'm somewhere in the middle. So if we could agree to disagree, we can start there. Some people you can't even do streams with. I mean, go across Black YouTube. Niggas are going crazy on these streams. Because why? You have a different thought than me. I might agree with you on 80%. Oh, but the other 20%, oh, fuck you, coon ass nigga. I can't do anything. White people and other groups, they are smart enough to be able to do business and to help each other, even though they probably can't stand one another. Even when you go to jail. And I'm going to say this last thing. When the Bloods and Crips go to jail in California, why are they dominated by the Mexican mafia? Because the Bloods and the Crips, if the Bloods have a problem, it's the Bloods' problem. We both Black, right? Let's say George a Crip, I'm a Blood. Oh, it's your problem. When the Mexicans come together, listen, we all Mexican. I see you niggas in the street. That's not divisive. But we have that issue where because we're so divisive in our thoughts, I don't think so we have issues. I'm sorry for the long one in this. Who wants to respond to that? And we'll go on to the next topic. Just very quickly. Go ahead.
No. What you said is absolutely correct. But I understand it because we had this conversation on the phone all the time. But I what Brother Nagone said was 1,000%, like 1,000%. Like, we got to be able to talk about these things. But I want to respond to what Susfly was saying. The only reason why I was saying
Super Slide.
I was getting his name wrong. Super Slide. The only reason why I was saying he was being hypocritical is because I've heard Super Slide talk about the different secret societies and the different things that's going on that we don't know about on certain systems that's been set in place to fuck our community up. Our peoples are victims of this integration and indoctrination. Susfly know this shit. He knows about the different societies. So when he comes out and just say, fuck the community, fuck this, and me knowing that he knows certain things that some of these people on the panel don't know, I'm surprised that he would speak that way. Yeah, I mean, and that's the reason why I just went after him and called him a hypocrite. In that sense, I don't disagree with everything that he says, but Susfly knows about the different things that's going on within the society. So that was my problem. That was my problem with him. I'll say this other aspect. The same way we've been conditioned to see ourselves through the lens of white supremacy, the way that they indoctrinate us with their TV, the foods, the music, the culture, the names, our languages, everything. You got to understand something. White people on the flip side has been conditioned to see you that way too, through that same conditioning. So even if you get with that white person, you cool with that white person, he's still in America. He's still a product of this Western systematic racism, institutional racism. He still sees you through the lens of the way you've been portrayed. So this is the dynamic. This is the cultural dynamic that we're dealing with in America, man. So we gotta bind together and begin to create things. We don't always have to agree on everything. Like you said, something that was very important in jail. Bloods and Crips. It's kind of on the East Coast, right? You go to jail. You got brothers that don't stick together. But on the Latino side, man, you can be Dominican, Cuban, Puerto Rican. Man, once you go there, man, you Latino. Fuck everybody else. Mm-hmm. Man, they got a care package for you. They got you. Right. Man, we don't stick together on no levels. I don't care if you educated Negro with the PhD. Them niggas don't get along. But it's all a part. It's all a part of this westernized culture and what we did. Go back to Du Bois. Go back to Booker T. Washington and Garvey. They didn't get along. This thing has been going on for a long time. So a lot of them laid out that the exceptional ones have to come together and build and create for the masses. If that's not what you want to do, then fine. My argument ain't with you. I don't even have a conversation for you. But my conversation is for the ones that really care and say, okay, well, you know what? I got this. Let's go and build. I don't have a problem with brothers like Nick telling them if he don't want to come back. Why am I arguing with him? He made what he made. He got out of the community. He's living. He got his family. He's doing his thing. But the ones that want to come back, that got the education, the people in the community need the skill sets, man. We need the skill sets, but we can't get past this psychological conditioning that we've been up under, man. We're not in chains no more. We got psychological chains on our hands, and it's from the prison cell to the goddamn to the damn PhDs. We don't like each other. We don't get along. Nobody can disagree with me on that. We don't get along.
No, that's true.
We're not willing to work together on so many different levels, man. I mean, that's all I have to say.
And we have people on this panel from all walks of educational life. I mean, from the PhD to going to the master's, I'm in medical school, the people who didn't go to college to whoever else, to somebody who's been in jail. Everybody that's representing the Black America is here on this panel. And I think this is imperative. You know, and I'm going to say this. When my idea when I had this show, the Sunday Rumble, and I started the leadoff concept, Phil was my first leadoff, Phil from the Advice Show. But the show really is been built on the backs of three people. They're here today. George, Information Man, and Super Sly. Those three people all together might not have 20,000 subscribers. But with those three people, with all three different parts of life and different, and ABL, I'm sorry, I cannot forget him. It's a smoking show every Sunday. And I think a lot of times we don't really believe that Black people can do great things. And I think the people that can do great things, like Dr. J, Information Man, Super Slide, George, we got a lot of talent in Black America that other brothers don't want to help other brothers out that have the knowledge, that have the talent. I mean, that's a problem that I got to see, man, because you get a person with a PhD like Dr. J, where do you have for him to go to? You don't. Oh, he got to create his own lane still back in Black America. Like if I go and get my medical degree or whatever, where in Black America is set up for me right now? I can go in and start doing. I have to break that door in and do.
Real quick, Oshay. Let me just while you there. Let me just say something real quick.
Sure.
And while you saying that, the brothers with the PhDs, and this is why the Talent Temple was created.
Okay.
The reason why they don't have nowhere to go, because those brothers with those excellent skill sets, they don't create it for themselves. You can't expect the Pookies and Ray Rays to do it. They have to do it. So the young brothers and sisters coming behind them, they have something to hire them. They can hire their own people. They don't love each other, or trust each other enough to create these industries for themselves with the skill sets that they have. This is the problem. This is the thing that I'm speaking about. Fuck Pookie and Ray Ray for a minute. The educated Black, when they get their education, they assimilate into these other industries. They don't create nothing for themselves where we can punish through hiring and firing each other. The Black excellence, they ain't creating anything for themselves as a collective and group. So when they come out of those HBCUs, they can come to our corporations and get jobs. They're not doing that. That's the problem.
Brother,
okay.
Let me
make it quick information because I got to reach. Go ahead.
George, I know you're familiar with Brother Farrell Says That, and he's got a thing that he's doing in Chicago where he's talking about building infrastructure for talented young people that are coming out of school or do have talent. And part of the problem is, as a community, we have not built up the overall infrastructure in our communities so that when young Black talented young males and females come out of these schools or these programs or whatever they're doing, that we're the ones employing them. They end up going to corporate white America and getting them rich. So George is right, but I think when we were segregated and Black people were forced to have to do for ourselves in that circumstance, that propelled and made us create our own jobs for our own professionals and our own Black people, blue collar, white collar, whatever you want to say. I also want to say this. When I was speaking earlier today, my focus was primarily on people that I deem as coons, Sambo, sellouts, people who are truly impacting and hurting our community. Nick says that, hey, he left Detroit. He had to do what he had to do. I don't see him hurting the community because he had to do that. I would see him being more a detriment to his community if he was doing something to be poisonous towards his community, right, that he left from, right? That's what I'm really talking about. And then Brother X stated why are we focusing on coons? Coons are over here just going to do our thing. The reason why we must, in my opinion, focus on the coons who truly can hurt us is because for all these years, we have allowed black people that have betrayed us to walk right into this quote unquote freedom that we think we got out of slavery plantation into the Jim Crow, all the things that we've gone through. These people have gone unchecked. And I'm talking about coons who have the power to be a detriment to our community. Those are coons that shoot and kill us and do crime in our community. Those are coons that are involved in government that can get laws passed, like I spoke of. When you got a black man in California like Ward Connolly doing what he did, he impacted young black males that weren't the Pookies and Ray Rays that we're talking about in some cases negatively. Okay, so we can't sit up here and say it's almost like the old saying, when you there's a saying that's saying there's people who watch shit happen, there's people that make shit happen, and there's people who wake up and say, what the hell just happened? And that's where black people are. We wake up too many times saying, what the hell just happened? Because we're not willing to do any goddamn thing. And that's why you got to be concerned about your goddamn coons that have power. Not the coons that's drinking the liquor, sitting on the corner and ain't doing nothing. But then they can be dangerous too because they can shoot your child. I heard Brother Nagone said that his young nephew got shot. Well, those are coons. These coons can shoot you, hurt your family, break into your house. Then you got the white collar coons that can set laws and legislation that can hurt you. So we as black people got to start having this passive attitude about, we can't worry about these people. Yes, you do. Because these are the same coons that were killing us on the plantation. These are the same coons that were saying, this is where they're escaping, master. And then they would hang you and cut your feet off. See, coons have never changed, brothers. It's just that the year is 2018, so we got a sophisticated coons. But we had the coons from the plantation that have walked right into the future with us and continue the same bullshit. So until we're ready to acknowledge that, and I said to you earlier, why is it that historically we haven't given a punishment or created a culture in which people that are coons that really are hurting us know that there's a punishment for what they do to us? Every other group of people in other cultures, they have a punishment. They have a punishment that you will pay a price for what you do against the culture. Black people, we simply sit up here and say, oh, well, we can't do nothing. Let's just move on. Come on. And that's why we find ourselves in the situation that we in, going around talking about what just happened when we wake up. I'll rest on that.
Okay, let me.
Brother Oshay, can I address that for 2 minutes? Because he did mention.
Yeah, hold on a second. I'll do that. Hold on. So I got a clutch. I'll get to you in a minute. I know we got a lot of packed panel. Then Dr. J. Let me just do this real quick. I'll put this on the boards also. Politicians: Stacey Abrams, Maxine Waters. I know Stacey Abrams was real big on immigration in Georgia. Is she cooning? Right. I mean, a lot of people fight for the rights of other people. Who was this brother that just got Mark? Who got fired from CNN? This brother right here talking about Palestine. What's his name?
Mark Lamont Hill.
Mark Lamont Hill. Okay, we talk about brothers like him. I want to put that on because I think the politicians, that are just really, really, really so pro-immigration, especially the Black Democrats in particular. We talk about that. We'll talk about what is the punishment. We'll also lead in because tomorrow's show, next week's show will be, can Black America run itself as a separate nation? Can Black people, or in other words, does Black America need a dictatorship? I, for one, say fuck yes. I believe that Black America needs no democracy. Y'all need a dictator like me. I'm sorry. Now I really believe in the Black dictatorship, though. I think it's the right person. So I'm going to talk about that next week. I'll use one of my, let's see, who's my leadoff guys? Wait, George. Have you had a leadoff in a long time? Where's George? Sly, you had a leadoff last week, right?
He said he was cooking.
No, I'm right here. What you say?
Does Black America need a dictatorship?
What you cooking, George?
I believe yes. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Black America needs a one-party state, the Negrocratic.
Well, I'll tell you what, the black community needs the Negrocratic Party, man. They need President Oshay Duke Jackson. They need me as the Minister of Defense. We need a coon deportation department.
George, what are you cooking, George? What are you cooking?
George, you cooking them coons?
I made some candy yams, some salmon, some string beans.
No, I actually do believe that Black America would need a one-party state. I'm serious. I'm sorry. I know that might sound fucked up, but I actually would prefer that because, yeah, especially somebody that was.
Hey, George, but you just the food that you just described, brother.
You can't give them democracy.
You're eating a real Phil Negroes meal tonight. You're not eating a house Negroes meal.
Let me do this real quick, guys, and then we're gonna go with this next topic. What should be the punishment? So real quick, we got 10 people on right now. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 people. So the response has got to be limited, all right? Because I'm not going to be dealing with no long-winded ass Martin Luther King speeches. So if you start talking real loud,
brother.
And I can't stop you, I'm going to kick you off, okay? Because I'm on my bitch-ass nigga shit right now because it's getting close to the end. So y'all know around at the 2 to 3 hour mark, I started getting real cranky and shit. You know, as a white man, he held me back. Okay, Moses Jenkins, corporate and political coons are far more dangerous than Pookie and Ray Ray. Thomas Sowell is more dangerous than Nino Brown. Intense fit and fighting makes us weak and powerless. Brother Douglas Jones, shout out to the panel and another much-needed topic of discussion. Financial contribution to ODJ for the top objective input and balanced meditation. Kai Laws. Awareness with Chris. We did a great show. Nothing matches Black YouTube. Yeah, Black YouTube's where it's at. BMT Black Male Talk. My brother, why has a coon never asked Hoteps to lift them up? Erica Williams. Because we can't waste our energy on folks who will not pick up and go and going back and forth to convince losers to be winners. Woo! I'll read that again. Because we can't waste our energy on folks who will not pick up and go. Ain't going back and forth trying to convince losers to be winners. Wow, wow, wow. Brother John Walter Kelly. The brothers in the military looks like enjoy the rumbles. Helping those who won't help and guidance is a duty. Whether conservative or liberal, my 2 cents. Thank you, brother. 5,000 Japanese yen, the brother in Japan. Tony Maceo, the professor, writes every Tuesday on NegroMaster.com. Oshay and the white man holding us back. I will hold you niggas back every chance I get. MMA Fan 3. Great topic in panel array nights. That damn Dr. J have blazed the panel. Great, brother. Yeah, he holding y'all back tonight. Black Male Talk. As much as the woke blacks have pushed up on women, why are those men running Me Too, Black Lives Matter, and starting their own political government? Oh, wait, they can't. Maurice Tankley, thank you so much. $20. BMT again. Pookie will always check a white man, but they live in a community for 60 years where they haven't been able to check that black woman. Ooh. Erica Williams, you want us educated folks to spend hours of our days giving to badass kids, ungrateful parents, because in the moral thing to do, then marry these baby mamas out here, start with her family first. Damn, Erica. The community does not want us. They do not want educated brothers and sisters to add to the dialogue. Your mom, dad are supposed to teach you how to read. Get the oxygen mask on yourself first. Damn, Erica's in rare form tonight. Sometimes I wish the community was muted. Then we could only show action, sink, or swim. Wow. Black Mullet. Am I still on? Am I still on, guys?
You on?
Oh, okay. Yeah. There's too many quiet niggas. I got scared. All right. 24 hours a day, what would you do with yours? Thank you. Black Man Action. Who will be in charge of taking the lives of so-called coons? Andy, the coons must rise and the niggas must die. Thank you, brother Andy. John Zahner, $5. Does the crabs in the bucket analogy apply to black conservatives who undermine black progressives, or is that just politics? Keep the likes up. Teddy Brewski. Bootstraps is a 19th century joke describing an absurdly impossible task. No one ever pulled themselves up by their bootstrap. Everyone needs help. I definitely agree. Carl's opinion, timed out. O'Shea always trying to keep the white man down. LOL. Okay, let me do this. Let me go to.
Hey, O'Shea, I want to say something real quick.
Hold on. Wait.
Samuel Gompers.
Okay.
With the bootstraps piece. Y'all just studied some history of Samuel Gompers, this racist motherfucker who came up with that bootstraps piece. That's why I always tear niggas out the frame when I see him come in there with that shit. This is a crock. Samuel Gompers, bootstraps. Look it up. All right.
You see how he just bullied me, right? Okay. Let me do this real quick. Let's go, brother X, just really quick, and then we're gonna go to brother Clutch, and then we're gonna go back to Dr. J and Super Slide because we gotta let people talk. Go ahead, make it real quick, please.
Yeah, I just want to respond to brother Info Man. That's my brother. I love you, Info Man, and I agree with you. But the problem with many of us as black people is that we only want to go after particular coons. We only want to go after the coons who tell the truth about black society. We only want to go after the coons who criticize black society. We only want to go after the coons who we think speak white folks' talking points. We don't want to go after the coons who are selling drugs, knocking old ladies in the head, having 9, 10 babies when they ain't married. Those coons we don't want to go after. We want to go after the so-called coons who have been successful and said, hey, I'm not coming back into black society. Okay. I'm making something of myself. I don't care about that. Mm-hmm. So we have to distinguish which coons we are choosing to go after, because like I said before, there are many different levels of coons, and mostly in black society, we only want to go after particular ones, not all of them.
Because the ones that are in the streets doing those type of crimes, and that would require us to fight and deal with conflict, physical conflict, versus dealing with the coons that you're talking about, that we don't have to worry about a physical contact with them, so we can stay safe. Would that be correct? Okay, brother. I agree with you, brother.
You know you're my brother, man. I love you.
No. I didn't say that as a criticism to you, but I do agree with you that we don't go after those types because there is a there's a physicality to that we don't want to deal with, that requires a battle on a physical level or a conflict that we don't want to deal with. I agree with that. Yes.
Okay. Let's keep the panel moving. Okay, let's go to Brother Clutch, and then we're going to go and get everybody involved into the conversation. Okay, Clutch, you were here. Welcome to the show. He was here. Did he leave? He was just here. George.
Clutch had dropped off. Oh, shit.
He dropped off. Okay, let me do this. Doctor, let's go to Black Ice TV. Black Ice TV. Clutch, if you come back. So, Information Man has said there should be a punishment that should be done to these betrayers of the black community. What is the punishment for people who are deemed to be sellouts, coons? What should happen to these people?
You got to excommunicate them from the community. They can't walk in the same area and ends that the so-called conscious people that are Xing them out walk. You can't do business with them. You got to get them out. You got to move like the church. You got to excommunicate them fuckers. Yeah, that's what it is. You got to move around them, find another way to negotiate whatever you need to do, but they cannot be allowed to step back into the area and feel comfortable around people that understand exactly what they're doing and are, suffering from their choices, especially if we're talking about community leaders, politicians, and people in places of responsibility. They got to get cut out. We can't be half-stepping on this. If somebody's doing business that is counterproductive to the black community, we have to boycott that. Yeah, this is what it's about. We can't half-step.
Okay, so excommunicate them out. Okay, that's your take. Let's go to Dr. J. Dr. J.
Praise God, I've been waiting.
These niggas is long-winded, man. You gotta, they'll like to talk, man. So go ahead, Dr. J, brother.
All right, something somebody brought up was, what are we going to do, or what infrastructure are we creating for our own? And I'm going to get to the point of the question that you asked.
Okay.
I'm from Detroit, like Nick Taylor, originally, born and raised there. So Louis Farrakhan and Nation of Islam did a talk at City Hall, kind of when Detroit was going through its bankruptcy crisis, when the state was coming in, taking control. And he proposed, hey, you got about 200,000 residents, even though it was down from 1 million, down to, the low 200,000s from 10 years prior, according to the census data. But his whole point was those 200,000, if everybody donated $50, we'd have $1 million or $10 million, whatever the math is.
Okay.
And we could buy up our own neighborhoods. We don't got to go to the white man's bank to take out a loan. You get what I'm saying? And every year, reinvesting that money back in our communities. Well, someone was like, well, who's going to be in charge of that? He was like, I'll be in charge of it, because you know where to find me if I fuck up. And if somebody that we put in charge of it mishandle it, we going to handle them. as in we gonna kill their ass. That needs to be the penalty. You can't be fucking around with people. You either gonna do right or you gonna get your ass got. They don't have a crime high theft rate in the Middle East because they know them people ain't playing with them. Whatever hand you stole that item with, that's the hand we cutting off.
I agree.
And Friday, you know, I still coach Oshay at the high school, so I'm still in the hood. I'm still doing my part, coming back, you know, losing out on a little bit of revenue to make it back to Jacksonville every Friday. Mm-hmm. A kid got arrested because he was being disruptive in the classroom, and so on his way of getting kicked out of.
So this is the Information Man Show. I'm a guest on the Oshay Duke Jackson program on YouTube. He does Sunday Rumbos, and I was a guest speaker as it relates to the issue of those that betray us in our community. As you heard us talk about the historical issues around the house and the field Negro versus the term coon, which we know is a racial slur, which white people used towards black people historically. Black men on here are trying to build together. We have very educated brothers on here that are speaking their mind, both conservative, both pro-black, both liberal in their ideologies, as you can hear the doctor speaking at this time.
That base principle. Now what the fuck are you going to do? Because you can't keep seeking the white man to make things equitable for you. If he is the one aggrieving you, he is not the one that's going to remedy the situation. We have to do it ourselves by coming together.
All that loud noise.
I'm going to end the program right now, and I want to thank everybody out there for listening on Speaker. Thank you for your support. Make sure you follow me on the Speaker program, and check out my profile. If you want to follow my YouTube program, go right into my profile of my Speaker channel and click, and you can subscribe to my YouTube program. And you can also subscribe to my fan page on Facebook. I have a connection to the Speaker show as well as the YouTube channel connected to my Speaker podcast show and YouTube show connected to my Facebook Information Man show page on Facebook. Thank you. And if you do subscribe to the YouTube channel, make sure that you hit the bell after you subscribe so that you get a notification whenever I'm on live on the Facebook. I thank you. This has been a great program. I'll let you hear a little bit more before I end.
This caucus currently is the Congressional Black Caucus. It's still a minority. Nevertheless, we have the most blacks we've ever had elected, but it's still a minority. The reason why the white man is taking this immigration battle so serious, his majority is coming to an end. He's trying to prevent the Mexicans from coming in. He's clinging to power by any means necessary, meaning he is never going to enact any laws. We came in as fucking slaves. He's never going to see us as an equal. You get what I'm saying? So how do we operate knowing that? That's my point.
Let me just say this. Of the gangster cop killer, I sent.
So there you are, folks, listening. I'm about to end this podcast. I hope wherever you are in the world that you're doing fine. This discussion will continue on after I end this program on Speaker. It's continuing on YouTube on the Oshay Duke Jackson Vlogcast YouTube channel. But I want to thank everybody who's been supporting me. Thank you wherever you are in the world once again. Thank you for your support. This is the Information Man Show. And let me leave you with this.
You're listening to Information Man.